When you've been on the circuit as long as I have, you'll know. See you around, kid.
Next time you overeat, take what the guys who overeat for a living take. Alka-Seltzer.
Men, nothing takes it off like Noxema medicated shave. Take it off. Take it all off. Nothing takes it off like Noxema medicated shave.
The closer you shave, the more you need Noxema. Noxema medicated comfort shave.
Come to where the flavor is. Come to Marlboro Country.
You never know when you'll need a big wagon. And the 1967 American Motors builds big wagons. See them at your American Motors Rambler dealer now.
Nothing upsets a pickle lover more than a dull, soggy pickle. Pickle lovers always insist on the proud pickle. Heinz. No compromise, no shortcuts, no soggy pickle. Heinz stops at nothing to give you a pickle that tastes the way no other pickle does. Crisp, full-bodied, savory. That's what makes Heinz the proud pickle. If you were the best tasting pickle, wouldn't you be proud?
If you want to know what's going on Wall Street, ask Shearson Hamill.
Mrs. Schwartz?
Oh,
Excuse me, Mrs. Schwartz. Could you tell us how you feel about oil heat?
oil heat? Oh, well, I think oil heat is wonderful. See, I'm showering in the school right for hot water. All I want, all I can use. And I know for a fact that only oil heat can give me so much, so fast, and it's so dependable. And I got my dishwasher going, my washer going. Still plenty of hot water. Whoops, I dropped myself. You know, everybody, all my friends wouldn't think of buying a house unless it was heated by oil. Oh, everybody thinks it's so dependable. Dependable hot water and dependable comfortable heating in every room in my house.
Mrs. Schwartz?
Yes?
You know you're on television?
Yes, I know.
Oil heat. You can depend on it.
Ready for takeoff?
Zach. Whoa. Working hard on my stump, what's the problem? I ain't had shit to show, being modest. Now it's grams of the wax for my conscience. Bron James in LA, you're on collars. I've been jumping on them planes like a hobby. Still moving with the pack like my partners. Shut the John on them jets cause you wildin'. But the bowl is a party on the island, moment of silence. So good, get back to the topic. Grew up, it was me and Flocka. Grandma's and Big T, this my mama. I ain't even for the pain when my pots flipped. Knew his name, that's it, never bothered. Mom said, you the man, son, you got this. Ever since I found a way to go and pop shit. Hold up, blaze through a whole zip. Took a seat at the table of my first flip. Days in red roof for my first whip. Spent the money with the gang, never post pics. Seen a change in the game, had to coach it. Never let them take my wangs in the mold, bitch. Ever made in a month, nigga. Used to serve him at the minute just to front, nigga. Goddamn. Had to grow up quick, I made my own.
I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. I've got the look that drives the girls while I got the moves that really move them. It's a chills up and down their spines. I'm just a sexy boy. Which angle's the best? They're all the best. They're all picture perfect. Do not adjust your televisions, folks. Do not change the channel. It's motherfucking Pocket Locker with Gin and Truth. Welcome to the Blackout. Let's go. I make them shiver, theists get weak. Whenever I'm around, they see me walk. They hear me talk. I make them feel like their God ain't real. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a US champ. I'm not a fucking chump. Let's go! That mic flipped off! Girls, hands off the merchandise. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy. Oh, welcome everybody to the second ever episode of The Blackout. I am your host with the most from the East Coast, and I am joined by the one and only Robert fucking Reed. Well, how are you?
My man, I am all right. Can you see me?
I can.
Can you hear me?
Now, folks, some of y'all don't realize my man, Gin and Truth, is up in the Gather Town. We're in the Speakeasy. Why are we late? We were watching the football game. Where were you? Oh, doing morally inferior things. Oh, you don't have the link? You don't have the password? Guess you ain't exclusive enough. Guess you are not one of the cool kids. We gotta get you some entrance music too. I like that Saint song. We might go with that next week. We have to.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you, every time I see your damn intro, it makes me want to step my fucking game up.
Yeah, we gotta get you.
Holy shit! Someone made me an intro. I still need to learn how to rip that, but goddamn, I got to work on my shit.
I appreciate you. Thanks so much for doing this. Well, look, let's jump into this shit, gang. Right?
Let's do it. I like it. Let's jump into this shit.
Because
I'm ready.
Tell us how you started getting this feedback about hell, man. And we're going to talk about hell today. So how did this whole thing start? And why do these creatards not think we understand what hell is?
Well, what was it? Maybe Tuesday? I saw some fucked up ass tweet, and the dude said, what was it? If you're not born again, you're gonna wish you were never born at all.
Wow.
And it's like, that's just a threat. That's quite literally, if you don't see things my way, we're gonna fuck your shit all the way up.
All the way up.
And so I released that video. Because again, especially now after 39 years of belief, and now I'm a non-believer, now I can hear what that stuff sounds like.
Right.
And that's quite literally, if my dinner is not the way I like it, let's just say one of us is going to go to bed sore tonight. And It's not going to be me. It's wait till your father gets home. I mean, and when some of the Christians were giving me feedback, you know, it's you don't understand the gospel. You don't understand what God has done for you. Well, it's your choice. I'm just like, the fucked up thing is I've said the exact same thing. And I don't care if you want to call it a choice or not. At the end of the day, someone's getting their ass whipped.
Right.
And that is just a threat. And there's just no other way to spin it. There's no way.
Absolutely.
You just threatened me. Just threatened me.
And I think as well that it's a threat, but it's also something they're not comfortable acknowledging. And one of the things that's come up is I think it's necessary. Like, I think if you really probably charted out the history of the idea of Christianity, heaven probably wasn't doing enough, right? That's kind of what most of us say. If you ask the average Christian, if they're really honest, they may be more motivated by the fear of hell than the excitement about heaven. And so it's almost like heaven wasn't good enough of a selling point. You know, we like to say that the carrot wasn't enough, so you had to bring the stick.
Bring the stick. Yep.
Yeah. And that's what this feels like. All right, but a lot of our friends, our fans here, are big fans also of this guy we're going to play. His name's Prophet Azad. If you guys are not already subscribed to Prophet Azad, you already know what it means. It means you're a terrible fucking person, and you're horrible, because we're out here trying to grow this community, and we can't do it without your help and support. But you know what? Before we do that, Uncle Bobby, motherfucking cheers. Motherfucking cheers, my friend. Thanks for doing this. Everybody watching in the live chat, watching later or down the road, we appreciate all your support. Welcome to the Blackout.
Bottoms up. What are you drinking so I can make fun of it?
I was going to say, I'm drinking some bullshit, some fucking Sweet Revenge, red wine for girls. Show's over.
You know what?
We're no longer friends.
Yeah. Next time you just lie. Just lie and say you're drinking some top-notch shit. Did your shit come at the bottom of the shelf? Didn't have like a screw top? It was $7.99 for 2 liters.
Bottom shelf, $8 or $9. at the pharmacy with the twisty top. Now, every once in a while, I do drink some Jack, some really good whiskey. I like a really good whiskey. But when it comes to wine, I went with this. You know what it is? I don't drink enough wine, so I don't know what I'm getting. And this shit is like, it's kind of sweet. It's got that, tastes like some fruit juice or something. And so I'm just risky. I got to do the communion wine all the time. So the communion wine's got to be affordable, sweet, drinkable.
Okay, but there's an enormous difference between cheap and inexpensive. You can get some good liquor that is inexpensive,
right?
But it sounds like you're drinking some bullshit. I mean, red wine by nature should not. It should pack a punch. If your red wine is sweet, you're in college.
You're doing something wrong.
Technically you are, aren't you?
I'm a postdoc. Right. College for life. That was the plan.
Okay.
I went from. You know what? It's funny because I was fortunate enough to go to college on a scholarship. I mean, you and I are both fortunate to be black men in America. You went to the University of Texas, right? Full football scholarship, right? I went to Penn State on a full academic scholarship. But yeah, I decided to make a career out of the university life. But man, I really think about that. We talk a lot about how people are just not as fortunate to have those type of educational opportunities. And you talked about it. Hey, the deal was you guys get to use my body. You go ahead and hook me up with that good old Longhorns education. I was in the same boat. Hey, I returned certain GPA, certain amount of grades, stay out of trouble, and you guys foot the bill. So we're lucky, right? We're lucky. But yeah, I can make excuses for college drinking forever, But let's go ahead and jump into this clip because I think people will want to hear what we have to say about this. And you already know the drill. Pause the tape, stop the tape. And at some point, we just going to say, end the fucking tape. Yep. Here we go.
Yep. Let's do it. Let's take a listen.
Also, Uncle Bobby, when I share my screen, go ahead and double click on it. That way it comes up nice and big for you. And, it's easy for you to see. You're not looking on some tiny screen. It should say Most High Apostle. And then you click on it, and then it comes up nice and big.
Hold on. I fucked some shit up. So let's see what happens.
Should have come up nice and.
I think I fucked some shit up.
It should go.
Do I click on the icon?
Yeah, go. Oh. Yeah. Just double click literally on the window that has my screen share, and it should pop up big, sort of like we had it before, like screen share.
Okay, I fucked some shit up. So when I click on, I got to be more careful.
I'm gonna show you on. I'm gonna show you online.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, your screen, that looks like infinite. But yeah, you just double click on people to make them bigger. But yeah, if you double click on me, you go, boom, and then you're nice and big. Yeah.
Moving. There you are.
All right, perfect. All right, guys, here we go. So tell me what you see on your screen right now.
Well, now I'm looking at my ugly ass face. I don't want to see that.
Right, but that's on the stream, right? So
if I...
You should be in Gather, not on YouTube. Watch via Gather, right? The Gather app.
Oh, maybe that's where I screwed up.
Yeah. Go over to Gather. View? You can go to start in meeting view. Yep, that's fine. Okay, and then so now on meeting view, you should see me, like in my camera, and then you should see my screen next to it, right? And if you double click on my screen, or even just single click on it, it'll make my screen really big.
So my cursor is smack dab in the middle of your face. Do I click on that?
No, hang on a sec. Optimize for video. You should see Prophet Azad on screen, right?
Looking right at it.
Double click on that video. That should make it big. That's all we're trying to do. Or click on it. It should get big. We're just trying to make sure you're not watching a video in a 3-inch screen.
And it is not. I mean, so what I'm looking at right now, Prophet of Zod, you, me, UC Love, and Arcade Bot.
Share your screen. Left. Share your screen real quick.
Okay.
Guys, look at this. Uncle Bobby's a pro. He knows how to share his screen. He's boom.
Yeah. Okay. That is what I see.
All right, let me see. You did Cajun. with the bad limp. Yeah, perfect. That's the perfect view. That's all I wanted to do. Okay. Yeah. That's all I wanted to see. I just didn't want you watching the video from some tiny window, right? That's all.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do I have the power to pause the tape from here?
You don't, but you can.
Uh-oh.
Sorry. You don't, but you can just say pause the tape and I'll pause it.
So, okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. Here we go.
I recently got an email sharing a video by Isaac of Daily Disciple responding to an atheist's objections to the...
Also, real quick, chat, want to send y'all quick shout-outs. Carrie Ann, Claire, Lena, UC Love, UT Punk, Paulie, KCA Randy, AR, really appreciate you guys. Lena, Cameron Bennett, Hippie Smiles, much love, man. We're so excited to do this. Uncle Bobby's going to come watch a little football with us later. We've also got 7 of us here in Gather Town, myself, AR, Uncle Bobby, YouTube Punk, Melody Joy, and UC Love. So some of y'all are even double streaming. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. Let's go.
Idea of hell. Hopefully it will give you some ideas for when Christians try similar rationales, so here we go.
Deconstruction is one of the most hot-button issues.
Also, real quick, Uncle Bobby, you know what I do have? Morally superior, top shelf, 25+% THC weed, right? So my alcohol might be bullshit, but my weed is bomb. My weed is fucking top shelf. There we go.
I believe you.
Christianity today, whether it's evangelical or deconstructionist, a lot of these people that are breaking down the foundations of their faith roam on to social media and share their perspectives about their new perspectives about Christianity, Jesus, and the Bible.
That's a reasonable summation of what happens, though roam on to social media seems like strange phrasing with possibly derogatory undertones. Kind of like they're wandering around thoughtlessly looking for a place to spew stuff? Or that they're some weird barbarian cultural horde? I don't know. No biggie, but it sounds not nice in a way that feels at least semi-intentional.
In today's video, I want to react to one of these kind of deconstructionist Christians and respond to a video that I think is pretty common, like the accusations that she's sharing are pretty common.
Accusations? All right.
This guy already.
I guess let's see if she makes actual accusations or if this is, just how he describes her sharing her perspective.
Maybe you have heard these in your own life for people that are deconstructing, or maybe you've had these questions yourself. Regardless, let's dive into it.
Yeah, a big contributing factor to why I stopped wanting to worship the biblical God is because I did not like the idea of him torturing or even annihilating those that I loved and cared about that simply didn't believe in him. I had plenty of non-Christian friends that I considered to be genuinely good people. But because they didn't believe in God, I had to believe that they were evil and that they were going to be justly tortured for all of eternity.
Okay, let's talk about this because there's lots of misconceptions about hell out there.
How does he know that what she or anybody else is saying about hell is a misconception? Has he been there? Observed it in any way? Verified anything about it through any means other than accepting verbal or written assertions about it? If not, he has no reasonable way of saying she's misunderstanding it. The worst she's doing is guessing about it, like he is, or much more likely speaking in hypothetical terms about the idea of it she learned to process her time in the faith. The fact is, no Christian knows anything at all about hell or who's going there. So don't let them come at you telling you you're ignorant of something that's at best indistinguishable from a made-up concept.
And it sounds like she has some, even while she was, she considered herself to be a Christian.
Considered herself to be a Christian.
Pause the tape,
nice
pause
catch.
the tape, pause the
You
tape.
almost did her the basic respect.
Go ahead.
Oh, so that's my initial problem right there.
Considered herself to be a Christian?
Well, so far as long as I don't agree with you, you weren't the real Christian.
Right,
and that
right.
is exactly how it is. We have 33,000 denominations of Christianity.
Right.
Again, if you want to know what's wrong with the Baptists, ask the Catholics. If you want to know what's wrong with the Catholics, ask the Presbyterians. And so again, that bullshit, that the whole, and I cannot stand Daily Disciple. I cannot stand that.
Oh, so I know Prophet Azad, but know the guy, you're familiar with the other content creator.
I've done shows on that guy, and he sounds just like the rest of them. Again, he's condescending. but he does it in that oh shucky darn. it's bullshit. Again,
yeah,
he does not agree. So clearly, she was the wrong kind of Christian.
Right.
When all they're doing is basing it on their opinion and feeling.
Right.
That's all faith is. So yeah.
That's garbage. Just utter garbage. Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying, and it's insulting. And I always say it's not just insulting because I'm an atheist now. It's insulting because you're totally invalidating real world experience. I always just say you don't have to call me a nigger to call me a nigger. Right. Exactly. The point is there's nothing magic about the N-word. It's that using it in this derogatory fashion dehumanizes black people. Right. Yep. Well, anytime then you dehumanize me. So you can dehumanize me without actually using that word. One of the ways you can dehumanize me is to literally tell me, as somebody who, went to Catholic school, comes from 5 generations of ministers, tithed. Right, as a teenager, bro, I put 10% of my gross in the missions of my thing. Right, worked at a church. Lived the life, bro. I was a full-time community worker. I mean, I worked at a church full-time. It's my job, right? Wow. Right, to share the gospel. So again, and again, I'm still playing church and been a worship minister my whole life, playing drums. I'm a church musician. So they don't know who they're talking to when they say these things. And it's not just me. You were involved in the faith. People in our chat were from religious families. Some of them learned this stuff because they were trying to become apologists. Right? Some of our friends were trying to become apologists, started doing the studying to become apologists, and went, holy crap, I've been sitting on some BS, right? And they changed their tune-up. So again, it's totally dehumanizing. The line I always say to people when we're talking to them is, you see the atheist in front of you, but you don't see the Christian it took to get here.
Oh, that's a good one. Consider that shit stolen.
yeah. But you know the vibe, right? It's they just totally overlooking our entire lives because they need that sort of no true Christian fallacy to be okay in this situation.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and roll tape if you do.
Yeah, let's roll the tape.
Back up acknowledging her status as a former believer.
She had some misconceptions about it as well. She says that she understood her friends to be pretty much good people, right? And so why would they go to hell? It actually gets to the core foundation of like who.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah, so I already know where he's going to go with this. Good people are going to go to hell. And so good people are going to go to hell. So his comeback to that is there's no such thing as a good person. Like the moment you take your first breath, you are worthy of hell. You are terrible. You are horrible. And again, now I'm sitting in a different chair. I say this all the time on my show. I am not going to talk shit about my dad, and I'm not going to talk shit about my mom. I can't stop Christians from telling us that their parents fucked them all the way up. I'm not going to say that about mine. But I guarantee the next sentence out of his mouth is going to be, oh, I see the problem. She thinks that good people go to hell. Well, what you don't know is that we're all fucked up. And it's like, I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to tell you that I'm so messed up that I deserve to be tortured. No, sir.
Yeah. All right, guys. Y'all know me. I'm a scientist. Uncle Bobby's made a prediction. Let's test that motherfucker.
Let's run it.
Who we are as people. Are we intrinsically good? Are we intrinsically evil?
He's going to say we're all so sinful we deserve hell. Well, you're all probably
Prophet of God is making the same prediction.
According to the Bible, if we're going to go with the Bible here, if we're going to call ourselves a Christian, then we got to go with what the Word of God says. And we say, okay, well, the Bible says that we've all fallen short of the glory of God, that we're all dead in our trespasses and sins. And you might even look at that and say, okay, well, I can understand that we've sinned, and so there might be some punishment that is due, but really, like hell for all of eternity, that's pretty extreme. A lot of people have that perspective.
Yeah, because it makes sense.
And so this analogy might give you some help on this. So, if I were to lie to my little brother, nothing would happen really. Like, he's my little brother.
Okay, so again, this is common. If I lie to my little brother, what's the punishment? If I lie to my parents, there's a bigger punishment. If I lie to the cops, that's an even bigger. If I lie to the Supreme Court, so I've heard this.
This
shit
is really
before.
interesting.
Your punishment runs parallel to who you piss off. So if you lie to the judge, you're going to get a stiffer sentence. If you lie to God, he has to torture you forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And there's no way you can go with people like this, because you can literally give your liver to somebody so they can live to see the next day. You pay your taxes on time. You help old ladies across. It doesn't matter. You are a piece of shit because you have committed the ultimate crime, which is breathing. And that is the worst thing you can do in the eyes of God. So I guarantee it's going to be, if I lie to my brother, if I lie to my parents, if I lie to the cops, if I lie to the judge, but if I lie to God, guaranteed.
All right, so I'm going to tell you a quick story that I think hopefully
overwhelming sense of impending doom.
Maybe your audience, who's, our audiences are still learning each other. So maybe this story will be new to some of your audience and maybe even some of mine. But I had a really crazy breakdown conversation with my mom this week. I'm basically, I don't know if you know in wrestling, a pipe bomb promo is when you go totally off script. You don't give a shit about nothing. Yeah, you don't even know what I'm talking about because you cut pipe bomb promos every day. But literally, I said, this is the first year I don't want to come home.
Oh, wow.
And it's a big year for me to not want to go home for the holidays because my mom is moving from Ohio. She's retired, getting back to work, but just for shits and giggles. And she's moving back to New Jersey to live with my grandparents. So she's built a new family home. And now it's going to be her and my grandparents under one roof. And now it's my mom's chance to kind of take the ascendancy, and everybody's going to be in Wanda's house. Everybody's going to be her house for the big multi-generation, let's get 3-4 generations together. And all of a sudden, Jason is like, nah. Reason being, I don't want to deal with the Jesus nonsense.
I get it.
Now, they had every opportunity in the world to say, yes, son, you and a lot of other people in this family are not religious. We'll go put the religious idols in in our rooms. And if we want to exchange some religious gifts, we'll do that, on our own. And we'll just make sure it's about family. It's coming together, eat, and drink, and be merry. It was like, well, then, it's maybe you should come another time. When it's not the holidays, so that we can celebrate the way we want. And I'm thinking, great. Yes. That was one of the solutions I had worked up. Cool, let's do that. Because you got to give them their things, Now, they should do it right, but they're not going to, right? So, fine. Just do it that way. That when Jason comes, the opportunity, the occasion is my visit. But to get back to this morality and Christianity thing and what you're talking about, I help the old ladies cross the street. I do the good deeds. I donate to the charities. I live a good life. None of that matters. I said to her flat out, I let her know she was in a cult, that, that a lot of this stuff is ridiculous. Like, I hit her with it. Like I said to her, Ma, you knew when you were 15. She had a medical incident. She has a medical condition, and she took a test when she was 15. They told her she was pregnant. She told them, no, I'm not. Why? Because she had never been with a man like that. She calls her father, blah, blah, blah. Dad, they keep telling me I'm pregnant. I'm not pregnant. She comes out. Why? She knew what? People don't get pregnant when they're virgins. Right. So she knew that at 15 in her own life. But while she was soft in the head, they convinced her magic man in the sky made Jesus via virgin. So I'm just kicking, like you say, the actual factuals to her.
Factuals.
Yeah. And but here's the story I wanted to share. I told her that I found myself in this really weird situation the night before that I was really proud of myself for. And so what happened was I was out, I went to the dispensary, it's late at night, so I'm walking back home, it's kind of dark, and I see a young lady getting off the bus in front of me. Now, I'm walking at a pretty mean clip, just walking home. She's about a third to half a block in front of me. And I could tell she kind of looks at me, cool, no big deal, keeps walking. I'm walking up on behind me. And I just kind of felt that situation like, wait a second. It's dark, it's late at night, there's really nobody else around, and I'm, a black dude walking up on this white lady in the middle of the night. And and again, you and I know she's in good hands.
Sure.
Right? Ain't nothing gonna happen to her. If I was right up on her, would nothing happen to her. But I literally thought to myself, I don't know why, Rob. Something made me just literally think to myself, what would it cost me to just stop here and give her some space? Nothing.
Right. Exactly.
So I just stopped.
Exactly.
I just stopped for like 30, 40 seconds. I actually even turned around for a hot minute just so she turned back. She knew I wasn't staring at her or anything like that. Right? She gets
absolutely
probably because I listen to you. Probably because I listen to you, honestly. Real talk. Probably because I listen to you every day.
All right.
Right?
All right.
But when she gets about a good block or so in front of me, I then turn around and just go on about my business. And I could just see her posture relax, her pace slow down. All of a sudden, she's not walking as fast because she realized she ain't got nothing to get away from, you know. Right. And I just let her enjoy. And what did it cost me? 40 seconds of standing.
Good man. Good man. Good man.
And again, she would have been fine, right? But it's just, it doesn't cost me anything. It makes her a little bit safer. The world's a little bit easier for both of us tonight. So my point is, I told my mom, that's what you should be proud of. That you raised somebody who does that voluntarily, even knowing he's not putting anybody in danger.
Yep.
But you raised a considerate young man.
Exactly.
But
that should be good enough.
Yes, but I told her, even when she married her husband, her current husband, she sent the signal to me loud and clear that I was not good enough. Why? Because as soon as she started talking about it, everything was, he's so serious about his relationship with God. He's a man of the Lord. And then all the other guys she went through, she was like, they weren't good because they weren't right with God. And then I told her this story, like, I'm an atheist, right? But I played in a church. The only reason I don't play at church, the only reason I didn't play at church today is because of COVID, right? If COVID wasn't around, I'd still be playing in church as an atheist drummer, doing the community thing.
Right.
And there was a young lady that I got really close to in my church. Like, we were best friends, like texting all day, throughout the day, on the phone, literally going on dates probably 2 or 3 times a week. Just, hey, you want to go get coffee? You want to grab lunch in the middle of the week? Hey, you want to get dinner over the weekend? Right? We're sitting next to each other in church. We play on the worship team together. She plays keyboards, I play drums. Literally on Sunday morning, everybody's worshiping Jesus. I'm looking at her, you ready to go? Boom, boom, rock star mode.
Yeah.
Every girl in the church loves me, right? I'm the drummer, right?
Right.
We're in the same Bible study group. I go to Bible study with her. Her sisters, her moms, everybody thinks we're dating. Everybody goes, oh, that's Christy's guy. That's her guy. She loves Jay. It's so great. They're so wonderful together. And then I literally told her, because I played at the college ministry too and went on the trips and the retreats and all that. I said, I go to your church more than you do. And she would laugh. She knew it was absolutely true. I knew the Bible, I knew the theology, but guess what, Robert? None of it mattered. I kissed her on the cheek one time, she freaked out because I'm not a Christian. So the fact that I was not a believer made the fact that I lived the Christian life in her community, in her church, on her worship team, family, friends, everybody already think that we're dating, accept it, and are thrilled about it.
Yeah.
No, the number one man in her life is always Jesus, and unless you get that Jesus pass, you ain't good enough.
Dude, I not only have I been there, but there was a dude that kept trying to get me to come back to the flock. He's a pastor at a church here in town. And I remember one of the talks we were having, and he was down. And I was like, man, what's going on? And he told me that he just feels like his relationship with Jesus is, it's lacking. And I'm like, dude, if you don't have a relationship with Jesus, nobody does. You're a fucking pastor.
Right.
And like, I'm just not giving enough. And then he got to the point to where he didn't say it, but I was like, hold on, man. Are you sitting there telling me that your relationship with Jesus is more important than your relationship with your wife and your 3 sons? Without skipping a beat?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, dude. Just take the word Jesus out and put Suzanne in. You're having an affair.
Yes.
And I was like, and the fucked up part is you're putting these failed goals on yourself. It's like, how do you know you're not giving Jesus enough? And so the point,
Right.
With the girl that you were seeing, where, this label is so nebulous. You cannot put again, I want to be able to bench 405 pounds. I know 404 is not my goal.
Right.
It's measurable. It's measurable.
Right.
But this thing with this Jesus relationship, it's nebulous. It's not measurable. And so everything about y'all's relationship was spot on. Exactly. But this one thing, this one thing that she can't even put her finger on. Everyone who judged you negatively, they can't put their finger on. Kenny saying, well, I'm just not giving enough to Jesus. It's like, dude, you do this for a fucking living. What else do you need to give this? It's like,
and I worked at a church, and I heard that all the time. Right, we worked at a church, and it was, and actually, because people knew I was always real, right? I still had sex with my girlfriends. I still smoked weed. I was still a real one. I just worked at a church and was spiritual, right? And I would always, even because we had these meetings where it was like I kind of worked for the youth pastor, and there was a team of us, like young adults, early 20s, right? And so we'd have our meetings, and we could kind of let it fly because we're all family and friends here. We all love each other. We keep it real. And so sometimes the pastor would be like, "Oh, I want us to do this," and I would be like, "Dude, is this really something we need to do, or is this just hyper-religious bullshit?" And that was the term. I could actually literally ask the pastor, is this just hyper-religious bullshit? Because in that church, we spoke against being too religious, right? We said, if you're too religious, you're just trying to make yourself perfect, so you don't need God's grace. So then I could hold them to that. I could say, bro, you're just being religious for no reason here. And sometimes it wasn't. So an example is he wanted us to wake up early in the morning, because we ran an after-school program. So normally we show up during the day, we get shit ready. After school, kids all come over from the school because the school's right across the street, right? Then their parents, they live in the projects kind of on either side of the church. There's one on either side. And so it's kind of like real local. We're in these people's lives every day. I always call this a Monday through Saturday church. But anyway, he now wants us to he wants us to be in the projects at like before 8 o'clock in the morning, knocking on doors, because he wants us to take our kids and walk them to school, holding their hands. You know, like talking to them about Jesus, praying, whatever, just spending time with them. It didn't have to be that, but that was the thing, right? It's a church, right? So they're thinking and so he kind of was like, y'all don't have to pray or minister to them, just be with them. Just spend time with them. And here's what I mean about it not being hyper-religious. The whole mission of that church was intentional community building, like I am on YouTube. And it's like, it worked. It was magic. The first time you did it was amazing. Why? Because those kids had never got that attention. You were like me. You woke up with the major raking you up. Hey, Robert, it's time to get ready for school, right? Dress greens, the juice of breakfast, right? And you and I don't realize somebody loved us and we got attention, and there was somebody superstar to us who wasn't too busy every morning. And so I had to, at first I was like, is this just hyper-religious bullshit? But then the first time I did it, I was like, God damn it, this is magic for building relationships with these kids. But go ahead.
So my question is, when you build a relationship with those kids, is it because it was genuine, or was it a hook to this guy loves me, he guys cares, blah, blah, blah. The next thing you know, it's like, have I told you about my Lord and Savior? Well, it's because there's one thing I've learned from my own Christian walk, and now I can look at it from this side of the fence. It's the new attack strategy isn't just beat him over the head with the gospel, It's, hi, my name's Robert.
It's love bombing.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Are you a couple bucks short on your groceries?
Yeah.
Don't worry, I got that. Matter of fact, let's get some extra eggs. Next thing you know, after 2 to 3 months, it's, would you like to go to church with me? Well, now I'm manipulating that friendship.
Absolutely.
And so if it's a matter of, let's go look after these kids. Some of these children don't have a steady mom or steady dad, or the shit's fucked up in their home.
Right.
And if it's just a matter of, let's go take care, that's one thing. But if it's a matter of, let's take care. Have you been baptized? I mean, that's a manipulation.
It is.
If you cozy up to John Doe or Susie Q just because, yay. But if you know they're multimillionaires and you cozy up to them like, can you help me out with rent? then you're manipulating the relationship.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, were you guys doing it?
I feel like
because it was the right thing, or
so I feel like their motivation is mixed, because for the people in that ministry, that is the truth they were living, and they were all genuine believers, and so this was the right way to do the gospel. You're supposed to do the gospel through relationships. And so for them, I wouldn't say in any way it was a conscious manipulation. But there's still two problems. The first being, that was our job. And I would tell people that. My job is to spread the gospel. Oh, how do I do that? Unfortunately, I get to do that during community organizing and music and all these things I'm really talented at, and I find to be fun. So that was the mission of this. So that's a problem, right? Because everything was hooked to that. We were putting them into, services and trying to get them to love Jesus and teach them. So we're teaching them math and science in the after school program. But yeah, we're allowed to evangelize to them. As a matter of fact, we're kind of expected to, right? And so I see that now as a problem. Even though the parents in the community loved it, I feel like those were kind of a community that needed that service and needed that love, and ideally would get it in a secular context, right? They get it from, I used to work at the Urban League right? And when I worked at the Urban League, there was absolutely none of that, right? Because it's just a public nonprofit, we're here to help the hood organization. So I would rather it be the Urban League than the churches. So that's problem number one. Yeah. And then problem number two is, you're only seeding them with the love of Jesus. We say this about, there was this lady named Rebecca. She had 2 channels, Bread of Life and Examining Evolution, and she was really nice. And a lot of us atheists and people, we really liked her because she gave us the sunshine puppies and rainbows Jesus, right? Have you ever heard about my sweet, sweet Jesus? Oh, he loves everybody. Everybody's cool type of deal. But James Apperson, one of the other people we host shows with, basically pointed out, well, that's all well and good, but then when somebody goes to look for Jesus or says, oh, that Rebecca made me really realize how much I need to be in a church, well, she don't know where they're at, and she don't care what church they go to. So now they're going to wander into any old local church, and so potentially they're now walking into a cesspool of radicalization, or you know what I mean? Like so you can have a good Christians who point you to Christ, but then don't exercise any control over where you end up in Christ. And so then later in life, you end up in a bad church. So what I'm saying in our context is, so the first problem is we are ministering to these kids when we don't need to be doing that to serve them. But the second problem is we're giving them this idea of the safe and wonderful love of Jesus. And even if that's safe and true and good in this particular church, we all moved on with our lives. They all moved on with their lives. And if they go looking for that same love of Jesus we showed them somewhere else, who knows who the hell they're walking into and what they're walking into. So it's really dangerous, both in the short and long term.
But what's the definition of the safe version of Jesus?
To me, there isn't one. There isn't one.
Right, exactly.
I'm just saying that was how we saw it in our heads, and that's how I see it now. Okay, even if you are doing the community service, but you're not beating the kids over the head, there's no good, safe way to do this because of exactly that. You're ultimately giving them the Jesus narrative, and you're telling them that that's something they're going to need. And so if they say, okay, cool, well, now I'm going off to college, or now I'm in a different city, state, or time in my life because I'm trying to hold down a family, what are they going to do? They're going to tell their family, y'all need Jesus. Let's go to church. Where are they going? Somewhere crazy. And then it's like, even what we were doing wasn't that good because we could have provided those same services even at a church, but kept the theology and the Jesus and all of that out of it.
This is the ultimate banana peel. And this is my issue. Like, I've been to online church services with friends during COVID, definitely since being an atheist. And I don't want to paint Christianity with a broad brush.
Yeah, hashtag not all Christian. I wish we could hang I wish we could hang an asterisk for the entire show. But
and I think we are doing it right now. Like I do it on my own shit. Yeah. Let's hang the asterisks right now. Not all Christians, but from this point on, we're just going to say Christianity. Right. Like my sister, Lady L. I love that woman, and she invited me to her online service, and it was fantastic. It was a phenomenal pep talk. That dude found every verse in the Bible that said, you know what, you are good to go. And it had a side chat, and at the end, I identified myself as, hey, this is Robert the Atheist, and I just want to say, 1, thank you for a great service, and 2, I want to thank you for no threats of hell or telling them I'm a piece of shit. And they're very LGBTQ accepting and not that condescending shit. And the dude was like, yeah, that's not how we get down here.
Right.
Gay
right.
people are good to go
right.
as they are. They're going to go to heaven. Good acting atheists are going to go to, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So yes, I want to acknowledge.
Yeah, matter of fact,
there
that
are branches
church
of belief that are like that.
Yeah, we were LGBTQ friendly, and not only that, we had atheists on staff. Matter of fact, we would laugh because one of the Rob, he did a lot of our IT stuff, but also did our kind of kept the kids in line, sort of safety and security stuff. And so when a kid would run around, he would be like, "No running in my church," and we would all bust out laughing, right? Because he's the atheist who says, you know, you can't be running in my church, but he identifies that because this is his church. He's here all the time. He works it. He would even come to services. Not because he was trying to get a religious conversion, because that had become where all his friends are.
Sure.
Same reason I go to church when I'm not playing. It's just exactly.
I mean, I would not set foot in a church right now if you paid me money. But
right.
I could totally see why someone would, because there is a community. And I haven't done the research, but when I hear, you know, religious people are more likely or less likely to suffer from depression or anything like that, it's because they're accepted. We humans as a species, we're group animals. And so when you're a part of the bigger group, thumbs up, you're going to get a hell of a lot more smiles. And an atheist still participating in their church, even after deconverting, I totally see it.
Right.
You know, cheers. It's where everyone goes, where you go, where everybody
knows your name. Exactly. Same vibes.
You're not down with the Jesus thing. You're not down with the virgin birth. But you can walk up to this person and they'll say, "Hey, John, how's it going?"
Right.
Man, I saw your kid play basketball last night. That sucker
balled out. Yeah.
It's like, be that at work, at the water cooler, be it at church, be it at the grocery store with the checker that you always go and see. It's just that, hey, you know what, Christy, do you remember last year when we played that prank on that person and everyone laughed because it was fun? That's why you continue to go to church. Right. When you're a non-believer, because that's where your community is. That's where your friends are. Right. So I totally get that part. Absolutely.
Matter of fact, I'll give you one deeper. The church I was playing at taught me another lesson, which is that this intentional community idea travels. And here's what I mean by that. They were all from Iowa. And the church I'm starting at is at Michigan State, and it's like the goal is to start church plants in major college context. So they're coming to the University of Texas soon, I'm sure. But the idea is you go to the university, you start up a college ministry, and then you start a local church that actually supports the college ministry. Okay? Yeah. And normally there's like vision planting, but the home church is in Iowa. And so the way these ministries are set up is like people who get inspired to start one or get approved to like initiate a church, they go around to other churches in the network, basically cashing their vision. Oh, I'm going to go start a church near the Ohio State, and I really think that Columbus is right for a new church and a revival of the Lord and whatever. And what I do is I say, "Oh my God, Robert, I love your vision. And, you know, I'm looking to take my step with Jesus, my walk with Jesus further. I want to help you start your church." So what they're trying to do is get you either at a college, right out of college, as a fresh young family or whatever, to literally move, right, to help them start this church in a different part of the country. So the church I went to in Michigan was started by, like, let's say 50 to 60 families, literally, that moved there from Iowa. And when they decided to start this church, first they took little field trips out here. They call them vision trips, right? You go on a vision trip, you spend a weekend there, you pray, you meet students, you go around, you just get a feel for like, is this a place I can see myself living, right? And then when they decide to make that go, they all left. So if they were just out of school, some were in the middle of school. Yeah, some of them didn't even finish. Some of them literally moved and they had to like finish. They had to go back. They had to take classes online because they'd be like, oh yeah, I had to go back and graduate. I finally finished at Iowa State. But they were out, right? It was time to go. Jesus said it's time to go. And so I had so much respect for them. They were a cult, right? They're like a Jesus cult because again, they packed up and they left it all. They left it. They were like, whoop, we out. But it was beautiful because we had enough older families with real money, great jobs, who were able to just buy new homes, right? And so then they put up some of the younger families until they could buy homes. They put up some of the younger people as they found jobs and got apartments, right? They all helped each other. They moved as a community, dog. Like they were like, nope, there ain't nobody gonna be left. What? What do you think you're going to be able to afford it? No, I ain't going to be. I can't afford it. Everybody can afford it, okay? Right? If you love Jesus, you can afford it, okay? Because they took care of each other, and now they're thriving, and the church has grown. The college ministry is one of the most popular in the city. They've taken on another church, right? They were so popular, another church was like, yeah, you guys don't have your own building. You've been renting out the elementary school. Just take our building. Take our ministry. Let's just fold it, right? So it travels, bro. That everybody knows your name. Y'all could be like, hey, let's take you to Paris. And all of a sudden, rather than you moving to Paris on your own and being like, I'm a nigga in Paris, Jay-Z status, but I don't know anybody, right? Your whole gang moved to Paris with you. So it's wild that it works. It's crazy.
No, it definitely works. And, well, on one hand, I say yay, because they put their money where their mouth is. They didn't leave anyone behind. Everyone sound like financially
they're not faking the funk.
Exactly. But the part of me, I guess you can call this snarky atheist, is you did it on a basis that's sitting on some bullshit.
Yes.
Yes.
Facts.
And it's like if you're going to move from this place to this place, and let's say you're gonna go to a place that's financially impoverished. You're like, you know what? We're gonna move here. We're gonna teach everyone financial literacy. This is a FICA score.
Right.
This is what interest rates are.
Right.
I'm sorry. Did you not know that X amount of every paycheck you need to pay yourself? See, then you pay your bills.
My mom taught me that growing up. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
My dad too. So it's like if you were going from Cincinnati to New Orleans to do that, and you're like, you know what? We started in Cincinnati with 10 people. We helped out 5, but 2 are joining in. So we're going to move this group to New Orleans, and we're going to go to 5th Ward, New Orleans, and we're going to teach everyone financial literacy. Right. Now from here, we're going to go to Tennessee.
Right.
To do that is one thing, but you're moving from place to place to place to place to place to tell people
lies.
You're a guilty sinner.
To tell people
and
lies.
It's like, okay, so what do you do with that? Other than say, I'm a piece of shit and I deserve hell.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to go from place to place to place, and it's like, you know what? Morbid obesity is on the rise. Now, I know not everyone has the money to shop at Whole Foods and get a personal trainer.
Right.
So here are some inexpensive options to eat better. You can't afford a gym membership? Hey, these are things that can be measured. These are things that have real world benefit. But if you're going to move from city to city to city to city to tell people, you know what? After you die, I've got a plan for you. What do they do with that when they're $5,000 in the hole, in the red? What do they do with that when, their BMI is entirely too high? What do they do with that when they're stuck in a bad relationship and they're getting their ass kicked every day?
Yes.
There's nothing about these, and Christians, boy, you're going to get mad, but goddamn, I'm just going to say it. There's nothing about these make-believe lessons that translate right now.
They don't.
For people with real
They really don't.
problems. So if you're going to travel from state to state to state, from town to town to town, why not drop a nugget that can help someone right now instead of saying, I'm going to help you out, but you got to get to 85. You got to die first.
Right.
Now my lessons are going to kick in. Why? What's the point?
So it's super interesting because I'm 100% with you, and I actually think that there is danger. It's so dangerous. AR said Jesus has to lurk it, just creep in and lurk in every corner and every space. His biggest pet peeve is when you heard that you send yourself to hell. Oh yeah, no, that's another excuse. That's what we're here today.
Let's do that one. Yeah,
go ahead.
All right. So the whole send yourself to hell thing. Again, if there's a Christian, thank you for listening.
Seriously,
I'm gonna be real with you. Stop saying that, because again, God has a perfect plan, and that plan is unchanging. I became an atheist at 39. There was no prayer that would have made me be a Christian. God's plan cannot be changed. So at 39, guess who was an atheist? And according to Christianity, it happened according to his plan. Now, if I drop dead by the end of this call, I'm going to die an atheist. And because that's what happens according to God's plan. So no, I did not choose to send myself to hell.
Hey, man!
If God has already said, you know what, my plan says, you're going to go to hell. And again, this free will thing, it is all sitting on some bullshit. And the only way you can make it sound the least bit palatable is Christian apologetics. But no, you do not choose to send yourself to hell when there is an unchanging, perfect plan. That's it. So Christians, go get a new fucking bag. You cannot have a God with an unchanging plan and free will.
You call this out a lot, though, that they are just inherently unwilling to take in new information.
Exactly. It's the only way you can continue to say this stuff. I mean, it's ironical that football's on in the background, because one of the big comebacks is, okay, you're traveling, you want to watch your favorite team, you record the football game, and you come home and you watch it. Did you rob the football players of their free will? In the beginning, I used to try to come back with that. Then I realized that's just a stupid fucking analogy. It's a recorded football game, and I'm not pretending to be this all-powerful being. So stop doing that. But no, it's the only way you can continue to say that we have free will is if you're stuck to your script. That's just the bottom line. Dude, if you are smoking and I am not, I'm going to be upset.
You should be smoking. Why are you not smoking?
Okay, because currently my house is green free. So you're got a very small picture right here, and you're looking down. It's like
no. I was texting my one black friend, letting him know that we're in.
Because I was like, dude, take a toke for me, and I'll take a sip.
Oh yeah!
Fuck
liquor it! Hell yeah! Matter of fact, I'll do you one better. I'm taking a fucking bong rip for Uncle Bobby.
Oh, this motherfucker! Blow it right at me! Blow it right at me! As I adjust my. Oh, dude, I love you. God damn it!
Oh man, I love you too, man. I got to tell you, man. I tell people this, and. I'll tell you, man, because it's true. There's truth. I say there's a lot of ways to be somebody's favorite YouTuber. It could be, who do you watch the most? Who do you send the most super chats to? Who do you leave the most comments for? Who do you share the most? You're my favorite YouTuber, and I've been telling people literally, man. I'm starting a show. with the guy who's actually my favorite YouTuber. Like, if I took my top 5 favorite YouTubers and all of them were live, and I could only watch one of them, it'd be Uncle Bobby, man. So this is unbelievable for us. Yeah, I got to be honest with you, man.
Hit me.
I think you're most of my fans' favorite YouTuber too. Like,
really?
Yeah. Like, I think they probably, I'm gonna give myself a little bit and say they're very committed to me. They might have the most love for me, but they like you the most. You know, Uncle Bobby's the treat. You know,
That is crazy to hear, and I can't thank y'all enough. But as I sit my ass back down in this harder chair, dude, I did this just because, just to be honest with you. And I grew up in my atheism, you know, watching the Atheist Experience and all this other stuff. And now it's crazy.
Yeah,
to have
it's
someone
crazy.
say that, one, I'm a YouTuber, and 2, to hear I'm somebody's favorite.
Oh, you're a lot of people's favorite, man.
I literally sit in this house. Well, thank y'all. I literally sit in this living room and I talk shit. It's like, this happens anyway. And believe it or not, I usually just sit and talk to myself all day long.
I'm the same way, but there's a certain people said you're brilliant. There is, and I'll tell you this. Like, I was telling my dad this. I've sent my dad your stuff, and my dad is a professional broadcaster, so he used to be a part of a group that owned the cable company, but he's been on cable television my whole life, and he interviews politicians, and literally, people remember the show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Same company that built that set built my dad's set. Now it's a totally different set, different scale, you know, but he, you know, it's like $1 million set. Like he's used to serious television, serious broadcast, suited and booted, interviewing the mayor, the governor, whoever, right? But your content is sort of like the old school cable mod. Remember with the shows with like the black backdrop and the two dudes with the little fucking coffee table between them, and they're reading the book or talking about some fucking political issue. That's my dad's show, right? And then they made that fancy, right? And local, right? It's local to New Jersey. It's about New Jersey politicians. You're gonna hear the mayor of Elizabethtown talk about what his actual job is and shit like that. You know, I always say it's why he's so heavy in politics. You know, most people would never watch my show, would never watch a show, but everybody who does votes, right? So his TV time is invaluable for politicians at that level. But what you do is the same thing, but it's just you, and it's no set, or everything is stripped away, and then it's for grown-ups, right? It's not that for cable, slick talk, let's keep it. Even these guys that we're seeing, right? They're so polished, right? They've got the, you know, 18K camera and the slick overlays that pop up. I mean, like even this guy here, right? Like but actually the people are excited about the video we've been playing. But look at this guy, right? He's got this TikTok thing in a nice frame with the overlay and the perfect fucking camera, right? And his language is totally fucking safe for YouTube monetization, and they could run a Pepsi commercial, you know, but people don't want, your shit is like UFC 1-2, like just bloody mess. We just got some cameras and some niggas that want to fight. You know, let's go.
I think my style it's my dad. My dad's famous saying as a kid was, "What's the bottom line?" All that matters is the end result.
Right.
It's like, well, I didn't mean to do blank. Yeah, but you fucking did it. So now I'm about to whip that ass. Right. All that matters is the bottom line. And I'm quite sure I would love to have this production.
Sure, of course. And it would always help, right? Doesn't hurt.
But yeah, oh God, yeah. But then it's like, you lose something.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I want to be able to say, fuckface Frank Turek is a pile of shit. I truly believe that him, Sideshear Bruggen, I don't think I can all but demonstrate they are doing demonstrable harm.
Right.
They are. I want to be able to say, you know what? If you tell your child, you know what? I love you, but there's this person that you'll never see who fucking hates you.
Right.
They love you, but they hate you. You wanna know why? Because if you don't do what they say, they're going to beat your ass forever. And it's like, how as a parent do you step to your child? I love you. Your other parent loves you. There's nothing that you can't do. Oh, yeah, but by the way, this God that we're making you believe in is going to fuck you up.
Right.
There's a give and a take. And I hope I can continue to sit in my living room and talk what I think are the actual factuals versus get Daily Disciples production quality and monetization and have to water down what I think is a real message.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and you know, and then there's different niches to fill. So like, I feel like you hit people with a really substantive daily episode, and so there's something to keeping the content to where it's easy to produce that daily. I always tell people, stop telling people to make these tightly edited 10-minute YouTube videos. They take a week to produce, and then you watch it for 10 minutes, and that's it. It's just not a good return on the content creator's time. Now, if you aren't comfortable in front of a camera, and you know you've got some brilliance artistically, or you're a fucking wizard with an editor, that's fine. But it's just not a formula. And I know this because most of the people who make those videos who are getting serious are like, yeah, I'm not going to make those videos anymore. They're like, what you guys don't see offline is that it takes me all day to make a 20-minute video while my competition's been streaming all day, right? And so, you know, if you watch the biggest streamers and stuff like that, there are people who stream all day, and they're almost shifting it. They almost stream for like 6, 8, sometimes hours a day. It's like a shift to them. Boop, we're going to start the stream at 12, we're going to end it at 8. That's how we go.
Does it really
punch
take
in and
that
punch
much?
out.
Holy shit.
No, they don't. I'm not saying you should do this. I'm just saying that.
No, I'm saying, is that what these cats actually do?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Holy shit, that's a lot.
There's a guy named Dr. Disrespect you should check out. He's just he's awesome. He's
I've heard of him.
Oh yeah. He's crazy. Yeah. He's a person. He punches in, punches out, right? But yeah, like you know, for you to put out that hour and sometimes more every day, it's a real feat. You know, I think sometimes people don't realize just the consistency. And so you got to just do you, because you got to show up and do it every day. But yeah, it's great. And then I think that people build on that. They really like the idea of, you know, where's the latest Uncle Bobby episode? Because I need my fix today, right? And then we do this other thing, which is like trying to make sure our people have a place to gather, to be, right? Like, because we treat YouTube like bars, right? And so that's the good thing. It's like, oh, we all know each other, right? We said, you want to go somewhere where everybody knows your name. Exactly. That's great. So to us, it's about, oh, so-and-so's live for a couple hours. Okay, where we're going next? Oh, Nidimus is live. All right, let's go over there. Okay, James Apperson is live. Let's go over there. But there's not enough of us. And there's not, we're not live enough. So if you were to say, we're going to treat YouTube like bars, but we want to go atheist bar hopping. That's what we call it. We literally call it the atheist bar hop. If we're going to go atheist bar hopping, the problem is we don't have enough bars and they're not open enough. So for the most part, YouTube is a ghost town, right? Uncle Bobby gives us a place to hang every day, but Uncle Bobby's more like a movie, right? He's not live streaming his show. He's just putting it up. So we can't gather and hang there, right? We just want to watch it, right? You know, we have these other content creators. They go live a couple times a week for a couple hours. So now me and James have kind of filled that niche where, as you know, we're live sometimes 6 or 10 hours in a day, you know, clocking in. And a lot of that's just because it gives our people somewhere to be, somewhere to hang. There's a fallback channel. And then it's great for the algorithm because it shows that I can keep people engaged. Like I keep people engaged for a long time. But yeah, that's why I don't go that way because I think that's a smart decision content-wise. It's definitely not the right way to grow on YouTube. It's just I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in building the community.
Live shows, it's not hard to do, but it's difficult to do at the same time.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
Like I think I've done 2.
Okay.
And as you're engaging on the screen, you're also trying to hit the side chat. And it is surprisingly difficult.
It is
to play both roles. And probably just the way that I'm wired. You know, the guy who kind of started me out on YouTube, Peter, who is absolutely fucking phenomenal. And he always said he would love to, you know, produce my stuff. But he's like, and then I just feel like I'm taking advantage of the guy. But his stuff is he's behind the scenes on R and Raw. The last time I went live, I completely fucked it up. He pulled off in the S Shield next he just so happened to be in the side chat. I would love to, you know, maybe Monday produce the movie. Tuesday, why don't we watch a horrible Christian propaganda film together?
Right.
I'm still watching videos
because
I've got an iPad, but an HP laptop. And it's like, how do I get these 2 things to talk to each other so we can watch, you know, God's Not Dead 27.
Right.
Wednesday, do a movie.
Thursday,
So, I mean, I like the idea of kind of an atheist bar hop.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
But here's the thing. It's like I said earlier, Christians have that community. And you can sit up there, and I'm actually not ragging anybody. You can sit up there and say, I believe a virgin got pregnant. And everyone in the room be like, you goddamn right. Without having to have one of us say, oh, come on, you know better than that. Then to have an atheist bar hop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all works out.
To be honest with you, I've found that that's the key. Like the thing is that most of us realize is that, okay, a couple of things. Okay, we're atheists. That's great. Cool. But we can't really build community around that because all we're sharing is a lack of belief in something. And the problem then becomes we actually need community, right? We're missing that. Most of us have identified that as a thing that's missing from our lives, right? And I always say this about the church. I always tell people, don't think that you hate church music more than church people, right? The music that is played in a church on service isn't something that magically Christians like more than atheists from an aesthetic perspective. What it is their commitment to being together, to being in the service, to being there, to experiencing the worship with the rest of the congregation is more important than the individual preferences of any of the individuals. But flip this out and try this with atheists and just say, hey, atheists, let's get together, listen to some music. What are you going to do? Because as soon as you play reggae, somebody like, well, I don't really like reggae. Okay, cool. Let's play this pop music. Well, why we got to play some? I don't like Taylor Swift, really? I'm supposed to show up to listen to Taylor Swift? All right, cool. Let's play some hip hop. Well, I don't like, he uses the N-word. It's like herding cats, right? And that's the one thing our community has gotten pretty, I would say, responsible and understanding about the fact that, like, we got to figure out some things that anybody can do and some things that our community is going to do. We're not all going to be crazy about everything, but we're down to do stuff because our friends are doing it and it gives us an excuse to get together, right? Christians don't think fucking, code names, these sort of group charade style games is better than Call of Duty. It's just they know they can play that with their church friends, right? So you show up to game night. And so I think that's the thing. And we're trying to get Gather to be that way as well. So, right, like we showed you earlier, with Gather, when we're not on YouTube, we can do whatever we want, right? And so that then becomes a space where your friends and your hardcore fans and supporters, have a space to hang with you where, like we said tonight, we want you to come and watch the game for a little bit, so check out the first quarter of the game or so, go Cowboys. But that builds community because now people are like, wow, I'm watching the game with Uncle Bobby. This is super cool, right? And then you don't have to worry about YouTube and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's just the type of thing, literally why we're trying to do that space that way, because it becomes a safe space to watch movies and stuff.
Right, but our non-belief can be a reason for us to be together.
Absolutely, yes.
I've heard Christians say that. Like, so you guys just get together and talk about nothing? But no, like
that's kind of funny.
Because every road, it is. But it's like every road is different. Just like I have no idea what it's like to be a 10-year-old who was not made to go to church, but this person grew up without Jesus, God, none of that shit for the entirety of their life. So I'm like, wow, holy shit, tell me about that path. And they can ask me, well, what was it like proselytizing? And again, there are 500 ways to get to San Antonio, Texas. You can get on a boat, a plane, a train. You can get on I-35, I-10. Either way, we can meet at San Antonio, Texas.
Absolutely.
Now, how did we all get to non-belief? There's a different road for everyone, and even people who travel the same path. It can be a different road. Like, I have no idea what it's like to sit in a predominantly white church and, meditate, just like some of them have no idea what it's like to watch Sister Johnson catch the Holy Ghost. She's 78 years old. She's running laps, and there's always nurses. Why we had nurses in church, I've got no fucking clue.
People falling out.
It's because of the invisible disease called the Holy Ghost. and I look back now and I laugh. You laugh. But our white counterparts who did not grow up in that kind of church.
Sure.
I actually do think that atheists can get together and talk about quote unquote nothing, because our path to nothing was probably distinctly different. Just like, everyone's path to religion, to faith is different. Why people stay in it is different. I just found out that someone in my personal life, I didn't know this, but let's just say this person, they exhausted all other avenues. Now they're a hardcore Bible-believing Christian. 20 years ago, if you would have said this person's going to be in church 3 days a week, you'd be like, nah, shut the fuck up. No. I just saw this person bump a line off of a Thai hooker's backside. And now you're going to tell me when they're 50 years old, they're going to shut the fuck up. So, everyone has a different path. So, just like every Christian has a different one, all non-believers have a different one. So I do believe that we can get together and talk about nothing.
Yeah, I think that's...
just so everybody knows, it's 21-23, and I'll be good goddamn. The Bengals just scored, and I'm stressed the fuck out. So I'm...
Oh, the Bengals just scored. Yeah, you're trying to make sure you keep an eye on the game here. Actually, I'm very impressed.
Right here.
Now,
I can do both.
Now, see, here's the thing. That's the key. That's how you do it. That's how you do the chat juggle. It's the same thing.
Point.
Yeah, it's the same thing as keeping an eye on the game. Point. Yeah, and the audience doesn't expect you to watch every single thing they say. You can take intermittent and catch up here and there, go in and out of it. And then also, you'll have good mods. We have great mods in this community that, once you start to give more people that wrench, the mods hold down the chat. So the live chat is technically supposed to be its own thing. It's really the live chat's way to encourage you. People have, taken advantage of it, and that makes it better when the streamer's interactive. Right, but hopefully your mods are active in the chat in such a way that the chat stays engaged, and they're engaging with each other. They're supposed to be talking about what the content is, so you can focus on the content. Right. The chat is not the content, right? So we just I guess try to set a high bar for interactivity, right? But that's not right. It's not demanded or expected all the time. Yeah.
I dig all of that.
Yeah. I think for us, it's just it's one of the unique things about it. I always say that our viewers are power users. So the average person on YouTube just watches YouTube videos. Just that's it. They probably search, they watch a YouTube video. At some point, they might realize they can subscribe to channels. You're lucky if they figure out they can do this thing called turn on notifications. Almost nobody leaves comments on YouTube videos. And so then you've got this really weird group of people that actually engages in live chat. And then to get to where a lot of the people you see are, it's just that we all happen to watch the same channels. And so you notice over time that there's always the same names in the live chat. Right. And then eventually you realize, those people are talking to each other, right? And then you kind of
like a challenge.
You throw your hat in the ring.
This sounds like a challenge.
Yeah, you kind of throw your hat in the ring and you make a comment here. I like this content creator, or I think I don't like what that person just said, or whatever. And then people realize, there's call-in shows. Holy crap! People are calling in. Did they score?
Wait, hold on.
Play the song.
Am I allowed to play this song?
Play the song. Nah, it'll probably get us canceled. Who cares?
You know what? Everyone can please.
You gotta risk it
themselves.
I guess you had to be there.
You guys know, when the Saints score, this is a song that gets played. Y'all don't know nothing about this. Hold on. Everyone can kiss every square inch of my black ass. Okay. 21 to 26.
Hey, I'm trying to get crunk.
Yes. Oh, there we go. Oh, timing's good. Show them the boom. Is it on? Oh, it's on the speakers. You should show me your boomstick.
This one was donated, so yeah, it's good stuff.
I love that.
My main man P hit it. But when you grew up a long-suffering Saints fan, I grew up long before it was popular.
I think that should be your entrance song.
Yeah, now everyone's riding the dick, so I'll take it. But two, I gotta ask you. Did you go? So every black church had the Sister Johnson.
Yes,
the Sister Johnson that always.
So I have a costume. Right, so I literally brought a costume so that we can have an atheist version. Sister Hattie Mae Johnson.
So for us, it was right at. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Great, because I'm refilling. So, the best part about having a deaf dog?
What?
Is I can sit here and I can play that damn song, and Buddy won't give a shit. He can't hear it. God damn. But for us, it was right after intercessory prayer, and Pastor Clark, after intercessory prayer, that's when the magic happened. And Pastor Clark, when he was set, when he was ready, when the shit was getting crunk, he would start. When I come back, hold on, man, I got to do this for y'all. It was good memory. So Pastor Clark would get into the meat of the damn service, and dude, I don't believe in God anymore, but I'm going to tell you something. It still gets me going to think about Pastor Clark. We're going to do some fucking cleaning up in this bitch.
I don't think people realize how much the church was like the center of everything, and that these preachers were rock stars.
You took the words out of my mouth. So by the time, right after intercessory prayer, that's when the sermon would kick in. And he always started out just like this. Pastor Clark.
Yeah, they know the build. Yeah.
He would talk, and I'm going to tell you what, you just don't seem to understand what the hell it is I'm talking about, do you? Because when I tell you you need some Jesus, you don't even Shirley, you don't even you don't understand, boy. So when he grabbed the handkerchief and when the microphone got off the damn thing, and dude, by that time. It was truly a damn concert. And that's when Sister Johnson,
a concert.
Sister Johnson was 794 years old. I promise you. And she would pop up, and next thing you know, she is literally running laps now. To my white family members, I don't mean any offense, but I've been to the white churches, and I've never seen the nurses, but in the black churches, the nurses were necessary because they're running Sister
Falling
Johnson
out. That's
down.
part of the way.
Yeah, they're strip tackling her as they're and there's always, you got to get her the water, right? And so they got the paper fan, and they're fanning Sister Johnson and shit, and they give her some water, and she finally calms down. She calms down. Woo! And she gets up and she runs again. The best part of service was watching Pastor Clark build up to that moment and watching Sister Johnson just lose her fucking mind.
Absolutely.
And I was like, dude, to sit through 2 hours of church service just to see that, at times it was fucking worth it. You're just like, watch. You would take a friend to church and like, watch 3. and Sister Johnson would just lose her shit.
That's actually how I always sold church to people. You got to see these fucking people. Yeah. You got to see. You need a girl to go to church. Look, you got to come see these people.
I never understood how it is. Even at my holiest of holiest rollings, I always felt deficient because I never caught the ghost. And I was like, what else
do you have to do?
Possibly do? I mean, I'm dedicated, I'm motivated, I proselytize, I knock on doors, I do everything I'm supposed to do. Why don't I? It's like what we were talking about. It's this invisible standard that not even believers can put their finger on. It's like, well, my relationship with Jesus is lacking. It's like, no, you just have low self-esteem. And you're just like, why can't I? Why? And I just sit there and I grit my teeth. And it's like, come on, you can do it. You can do it. And I never caught the Holy Ghost, man.
I never caught the Holy Ghost either. But to your point, I kind of, people pray for the gifts, right? And so what was interesting in my walk with the Lord, right, was I didn't worry about it because I didn't want the Holy Ghost. I didn't pray for.
Really?
I never prayed for that gift. I didn't want that because I seen it do the speaking in tongues and all of that shit. I was like, I don't want that fucking Holy Ghost shit. Yeah, I didn't want that spirit on me. And so what was weird was I actually prayed for the gift of drums. I prayed for the ability to play the drums, and so I had the experience that and it's weird. Part of the reason I play at churches now is because I'm a man of my word, even if God doesn't exist. But I always promise God that if He blessed me with the ability to play the drums, I'd always play for the people, for His people.
Yeah, so Melody just kicked it. See, and this is what I'm talking about. It's non-belief. Yeah, we can sit and talk about nothing. You always wonder what was wrong with you. And I was like, yeah, me too. I was like, if I was not dedicated to the Lord, nobody was. And you just felt you just
if I wasn't dedicated, nobody was. Yeah, I feel that. Right. I feel that. And that's where now I've gone to call a lot of them out. Because now I'm just like, you're not going to sit up in my face and tell, the Christian me that I didn't know what I was doing or I didn't understand that, that I was, no, I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm Moses. I'm the bishop's grandson. You're going to have to come again. You're going to have to try harder than that.
Like Matt Dillahunty was studying to become a pastor.
That's what I'm saying.
And now that he's an atheist, well, you never understood the gospel. And again, if he didn't understand it,
nobody understands it. Yeah.
And I remember Dan Barker was a former pastor who even claimed that he put hands on people, prayed, and cured sickness
Wow.
And now he's like, yeah, that was total bullshit. Now Christians are saying you were never one of us. And we're like, he's a former
he's a former faith healer.
This fuck Rob Bell took a big beating. He was a pastor, and he was like, you know what? And I respect the shit out because he put his money where his mouth is. He lived a year as a non-believer. He dropped his belief. And he just took this big beating from, other Christians. And if you left us, you were never one of us. And I was like, again, if this guy was not a Christian, nobody was.
Right.
And like Daily Disciple was sitting here saying, with that condescending ass voice, again, you found someone who is a former Christian. And instead of saying, you know what, they've got a valid point, your only comeback is, well, they were faking the funk.
Right.
And it's a cheap shot. It's just quite simply put, a cheap shot.
Absolutely. So the gang is all gathered here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So, Uncle Bobby, the game starts at like 8, right? Do you want to so I think that's 7 your time?
I think it is a 7:15
kickoff. Yeah. So do you want to come back through around that time? And maybe I could even give you a buzz just to make sure I can help you get in case. I mean, you honestly, next time you log in, you'll literally reemerge right where you were. But no worries.
Okay.
I'll still
it's a 7:15 kickoff. I'm looking right at it.
So I'll probably give you a buzz around 7 if that's cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, awesome. Thanks so much for doing this. And
of course.
You are welcome, of course, to hang out, but I'm assuming you want to go watch football and chill out.
I'm going to finish up this Saints game. Yeah. Just hit me up at 7.
Yeah. Definitely appreciate you coming through. And once you dip, I will turn off your channels so that your channels won't be live when we do hot program. So before you go, though, I want to give my one black friend an opportunity to say hi, and anybody else on the panel that might want to.
Hi.
Hello.
How
are you?
Doing well. I'm fantastic.
I'm making it. There you go. There you go.
Awesome.
I'm in here somewhere.
Anybody else?
I see you.
AR, you want to say bye? Melody, Cameron?
Yeah. See you, Jen.
Hey, I'm here. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks so much.
Look, yeah.
I'm going to say cheers.
Oh, that was Cameron.
Yeah.
Mike's gross. All right.
I only have water, but I'll drink my water.
Yeah, I did too. No, it's not you.
No, it's not you.
All right, Cameron, mute your mic. Appreciate you. It was Cameron's mic.
Okay.
No, it's not you. Sorry about that. Sorry, that was. He just wanted to say hi.
It makes sense that Cameron, the fitness guru, has a lot of gains on his microphone.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. There it is.
Oh, is there another gym freak in the room?
Oh, yeah. Cameron's a fitness instructor. Yeah. That's when you do a site. Yeah. Cameron, like you, is all muscle.
Well, we can talk about it.
I always say,
talk about it. Come back at 7, Cam.
Yeah, he'll probably be around. I always say Cameron has muscles in places most people don't have places.
I like it.
But yeah, man, thanks for coming through. We'll see you at 7.
Anytime. I'll see y'all at 7.
All right, we'll see you later.
In the truth.
Peace.
Peace and hair grease.
Peace and hair grease. Love that. All right,
Dr. Dre in that song "Keep Your Head Ringing," keep their heads ringing. Says that. I didn't come up with peace and hair grease. I just say it a lot.
All right. We should be. I'll save that.
Are we on YouTube at the same time we're here?
Yeah. That's how we do this. So now, basically, what I do is, I just share my screen, right? So we're all in Gather, and then I just share my screen and Gather, which is pretty much what I was doing before, right? We would just meet and restream, and then I would just share my screen and restream. We just like this more than Zoom or restream, so we use this, and I share that, and then I plug everything in backstage. But yeah, I don't have us. We're not live on the Hot Program channels. I was gonna. I want to make sure I wait till you got here or whatever, but. Are you ready to go live? I think I have
I went out and I bought regular plug-in headphones.
I like them more. Yeah, mine plug in, man. I'm old school. Because there's no issues with timing or delay. Your signal's always strong. Like
battery's going flat.
Yeah, they're easy. Yeah, it's easy. But I do have Bluetooth headsets that I like as well. But do you are you ready to go? I don't know how to get into to find these. I'm trying to find the 613 commandments.
Okay,
what do they call them? Mitzvah or something?
Yeah, it's mitzvot. I think it's mitzvot. So if you just type 613 commandments and I forgot to.
That's what I did. That's what I did.
I forgot to send myself this. I had a coworker tell me a story about a sin she committed. So I forgot to send it to myself, but I'm sure I can do that.
Okay.
And her name is Buffy, and this is way longer than I wanted it to be, but that's okay. Share. I don't edit well, folks, so forgive me for that.
This looks like it. It looks like I found it. Holy crap.
What's wrong?
You already know. There's 613 of them.
Yeah, well, we're not going to get through them all.
No, I know. I'll make it part 1. But I just mean really, they really did this. Like, it just I don't remember actually like looking. Are these all in the Bible?
Yeah.
I don't remember going over these 613 laws. Oh, they're spaced out and stuff. Weird.
So everyone, the way
all
this
right,
works,
I found him. We found him. We got him.
Mitzvot. Okay, which one are you?
I call it mitzvah. I'm going mitzvah.
Mitzvah is like a good deed.
Oh, that's not. That's not what it is. It's not. I'm just going biblical commandments. Commandment number. I'm going commandment. Law. Biblical law. Rules. Rule number 1.
Rule number 1. So how do I? But what site are you on in case anybody wants to read?
I can screen share.
In the picture, but yeah.
You want to drop a link? Yeah. I'll drop a link. Okay. I'll drop a link.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
You can hear that person talking?
I can quietly. They're not loud.
I can turn her up, but that's amazing that you can hear that. It amazes me because I don't know any better. So Pocket Locker, which.
So here, let me drop the link. I'm also going to drop the link in
the chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop it in the chat. But I want to change. I want to change my screen first.
In the chat.
That way, I'm not pulling up my Discord.
Mitzvot. Perfect. Okay, so what I have to do is have 2 screens, 2 windows open, and luckily my giant screen arrived. Not my enormous screen, just my giant screen.
I have 2 screens that need to get fixed, and I really need to get on it.
Okay, by the way, this reminds me to our listeners, if you are shipping something via FedEx, or maybe even UPS, whatever shipper, make sure you note the declared value for that shipment. I'll tell you why. Because if your items arrive broken or don't arrive, they only pay you probably like $100 and refund the shipping costs.
Wow.
Which my assistant, her monitor arrived broken.
Right.
It was a $300 monitor for what you pay $300 for today. It's way better than what she had. However, it doesn't matter. She bought that thing and it's broken now. FedEx is going to give her $100. Plus the shipping was like $250. So, okay, she comes out ahead. But I shipped an $800 monitor. And I told the person who was in charge of shipping, I said, this was $800. My scanner was $500. You know, I'm telling her what this stuff costs. I didn't know until the day before yesterday that you could put the value on a FedEx shipment, and that's what they would reimburse. I thought they would just reimburse you anyway. That is not the case, that you could get the full value without stating the full value.
I'm gonna share again because I got a PDF. And I like the PDF.
PDF
I'm gonna rock
would be
the
better.
PDF. I'm gonna rock with the
See, a
PDF.
lot of times these lists don't give you context; they just give you the scripture.
Yeah, that's what this is gonna do. But I kind of want that for the broadcast, so I could just. I mean, you could pull up the. Oh, you want to pull up the context as we go for stuff? Okay, I got you. That's great. That's a great workflow.
I'm going to Bible Gateway, which to me is like a better one.
Yeah.
We can keep it in the NIV. That's fine.
Keep it.
And
can we go NRSV?
NRSV, what's that?
The New Revised Standard Version. That's my favorite.
NRSV. There's
I know you tend to not care.
Updated edition.
Updated edition, sure. How do I let me
I don't care. We can use any of them.
Yeah, I know you say that, so then I'm like, let me get mine in there. Let me see if I can tell people real quick. Here we go. The New Revised Standard Version is an English translation of the Bible published in 1989 by the National Council of Churches. The NRSV was intended as a translation to serve devotional, liturgical, and scholarly needs of the broadest possible range of Christian religious adherents. At present, the New Revised Standard Version is the version most commonly preferred by biblical scholars. This is due to its basis on what are often considered the oldest and reliable manuscripts and a strict adherence word for word for translation. It's also there's a lot of other stuff. Obviously, I'm reading from the Wikipedia. But here's something else I wanted to add. Gender language. In the preface of the NRSV, Bruce Metzger, who is Bart Ehrman's advisor, actually, right? Mentor, wrote for the committee that, quote, many in the churches have become sensitive to the danger of linguistic sexism arising from the inherent bias of the English language toward the masculine gender, a bias that, in the case of the Bible, has often restricted or obscured the meaning of the original text. The RSV, which is the Revised Standard Version, observed the older convention of using masculine nouns in a gender-neutral sense, e.g., man instead of person, and in some cases used a masculine word where the source language used a neutral word. This move has been widely criticized by some, including within the Catholic Church, and continues to be a point of contention today. The NRSV, by contrast, adopted a policy of inclusiveness in gender language. According to Metzger, quote, the mandates from the division specified that in references to men and women, masculine-oriented language should be eliminated as far as this can be done without altering passages that reflect the historical situation of ancient patriarchal culture. So those are just a quick synopsis of why I chose that particular version of the Bible. It's one, it's widely used by scholars, and two, it's inclusivity. I don't think it's perfect in either of those regards. There's problem with word-to-word approaches in general. There's problems with probably the way they choose to execute their gender inclusivity. For instance, I'm sure they refer to God as masculine a lot when you don't really need to. But nevertheless, I just wanted people to kind of have we've never really talked about versions, right? Or my preference, and so I figured it's just the first time we're going to mention why I do NRSV. I figured I might as well go ahead and mention that. The other thing I want to say is that a little small thing that is just crazy, and I don't remember if he asked me, and I just don't remember, or if he somehow knew, or if he's heard me mention it before, but when YouTube Punk made my Book of Myron for my birthday, and, it's the King Myron edition, right? And it's the sort of adopted Holy Bible It is, in fact, a new revised standard version. And I don't know if that was standard or what, but I remember when I first opened it up and I noticed that, I, like, lost my shit. Like, I was like, oh, my God, he got it even's the right version. Like, I was like, it's perfect. Like, it was already perfect. And then it was the right version. I was like, oh, my God, this is incredible. But, yeah, if you're ready to, my one black friend, we can go ahead and go live. I don't know what I'll do.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll probably run.
We should have gone live by now, I would think.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. You told me you were driving, so that was the only reason I was kind of like, yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I wasn't sure. You're right, though. I saw you got in here. But, yeah, let's go ahead.
You have like 6 intros, I think.
Huh?
You have about 6 intros for me, I think.
Oh, great! Yeah. I've got like a cavalcade of intros. I like. All right, I like this one. All right, so I'll do that. I'll hit a start countdown here, and we'll be good to go. All right.
Ready for takeoff.
Forgive me, I have to clean my ear.
You're good. Take your time.
Working hard on my stump, what's the problem? I ain't have shit to show, being modest. Now it's grams of the wax for my conscience. Bron James in LA, you're on college. I've been jumping on them planes like a hobby. Still moving with the pack like my partners. Put the John on them jets cause you wildin'. But the bowl is a party on the island, moment of silence. So good, get back to the topic. Grew up, it was me and Flocka. Grandma's and Big T, this my mama. I ain't even for the pain when my pops flipped. Knew his name, that's it, never bothered. Mom said, you the man, son, you got this. Ever since I found a way to go and pop shit. Hold up, blaze through a whole zip. Took a seat at the table of my first flip. Days in red roof with my first whip. Spent the money with the gang, never post pics. Seen a change in the game, had to coach it. Never let them take my wangs in the mold, bitch. Ever made in a month, nigga. Used to serve him at the minute just the front, nigga. Goddamn.
I'm back.
Perfect timing. Welcome everybody to Hot Program. I'm your host with the most from the East Coast. And as always, folks, I am joined by a man whose electric car is emotionally charged. A man who needs no introduction. How you doing today, my one black friend?
I am well, thank you so much, and hello everyone.
Yeah, glad to hear it. I'm good. Everybody is hanging. It's nice to start the show with a audience that's here and already kind of hot. Thanks everybody for supporting the Blackout with Gin and Truth. You can go ahead and check that out on the Pocket Locker channel or on the Gin and Truth channel. We are currently, of course, live on Hot Program. Go ahead, head over to Hot Program if you'd like to. But we're also live on my One Black Friends channel on YouTube and Twitter, I think is the one you sent me, right? Twitter?
On Twitter?
And then we are also live on the Pocket Locker 86 channels as well. So however you'd like to watch, we appreciate you. Restream does allow me to keep track of things. So I know we have about 12 viewers right now, wherever they happen to be. So that's great. We've also got the gang with us and Gather. AR is here. UC Love is here. Melody Joy is here. Gathertown Punk is here. Cameron Bennett is here, and the arcade bot you see is actually just my tablet. That's another, just allows me to keep an eye on Gather from another device. All right, so happy that everyone's here, and we're here to talk about these biblical commandments. Let me go ahead and edit this. The titles real quick. My one black friend, you might want to.
Can I begin my audio?
Oh, are you going to play an audio thing?
I'm going to play a brief audio thing. It's about 4 minutes.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. If you've just joined us, this is a recording I made of a coworker. And she and I got to talking, and she's extremely interesting. She's from another time. She's only 22 years old. I'm 50. So to hear how she just marvels at things that were around when she was a kid. And I'm like, I was an adult when that was happening, or when that was released, or when that went away, that sort of thing. So she's only ever known a world with the internet, publicly available. It was around. The internet's actually been around a long time. So I'm going to play. I told her we were doing this episode about the commandments, and she mentioned how she broke one of them. So here is the story. I need to know what I need to do so that you can hear it.
You can try probably.
Nope, that's not my name.
Did you hear that?
Can you turn it up? I did hear it. Can you turn it up any?
I don't know how to turn it up more.
Is it on YouTube?
I have it maxed out.
Yeah, probably if you share your screen and then just share and then check share system audio.
Okay, how do I do that?
All right, so down at the bottom next to your camera icon, there should just be something that looks like a screen. You go to share screen. The other thing you should do is, and then there's a little checkbox. It should say share system audio. You're going to make sure you check that box.
You know what? It doesn't show me the My Music window. Oh, there it is. So wait, there's a little checkbox?
Once you click the share screen,
can you all just see something that says My Music?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep, we can see your screen.
Okay,
go ahead and play a song from your music real quick. Actually, don't. Yeah, actually, you can play a second of it. Don't matter. Just play.
No, this is just her. I don't.
Oh, that's her. Okay.
Okay, you're cutting.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Welcome to. I can.
But I think pause. I think it's playing through the speaker, right? Not through the.
No, it's playing in my headphones.
Oh, so then did you check the box that says share the system audio?
I didn't see that. So.
All right, so unshare. You might have to unshare to see it. All right, now go to click share screen, and then after you click share screen, you're going to click on what you want to share.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, now there's an option to share system audio. Yeah.
I'll say my name's Buffy. It's fine. I just won't say my last name.
We can hear that, and you know what? I'll turn it up a little bit on my end so that it's easier for the audience to hear it. So that'll be fine. Go ahead.
Buffy, and you're joining me on a special segment of Hot Program that's called Buffy Story Time, where I'm just going to tell the story and we get to sit along for the ride, I suppose. So just so you can get to know me better, when I was 8 years old, it's 2008. It was, I guess, not a great time. You know, we're hitting the recession. Things are a little rough out there. I still remember it, even though I'm 8 years old. And part of this story specifically is that I used to attend church. I will not say the name of the church for obvious reasons. But I used to attend church, and one of the events that our church would do yearly was a yard sale situation. And at this yard sale, there would be a giant raffle for all different types of prizes. The top two prizes were a portable DVD player and a Nintendo Wii, okay? So, going into this, I knew I want this Wii. You know, the family's struggling a little bit. It's the recession. But I still wanted a Wii, and me and my twin brother, this was our dream. You know, all the kids at school, they talked about how they had Wiis. We just had a GameCube. And it kind of did the job, but it wasn't as fun, you know? Anyways, so, at the church raffle / yard sale, I was placed in charge of the raffle. Why the church thought it would be a good idea to place an 8-year-old in charge of a raffle is beyond me, but they did. And of course, naturally, without thinking about the consequences and how maybe unethical it was, I stuffed the raffle box with my name so that I could win the Wii. And wouldn't you know it, I actually didn't win the Wii initially. I won the portable DVD player. But this man, who I shall not name his name, because obviously it's confidential, he won the Wii, and he was kind of a weirdo guy. That's a whole story for another time. The weird guy won the Wii, and I ran up to him with my portable DVD player, and I said, "Hey, blank name, you wanna trade?" And he said, "Yeah, what am I gonna do with this?" So we swapped, and from then on, me and my twin brother had a Wii, and I still have that Wii to this day. It is in my living room, and it sits there proudly, even though technically I did rig a church raffle to win it. I'm still quite proud that I have a Wii. And
okay, that's enough of that story. So I don't know how to. Okay, I'll stop sharing. That's it. Okay. Are we back? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so breaking the law of God there so she lied, she cheated, and she might have won the Wii, but I think we have to assume she pretty much wouldn't have, so she stole.
Right.
And would a man rob God? Well, a kid would. So we know that. So this list, this magical, massive list, I just had your PDF open. I don't know where it went to. I'll just reopen it. So the 613 mitzvot, I bet we don't get through all of them today.
No. I think the goal is to make it a series that we can just revisit whenever we'd like. So we'll just start, see how far we get.
Okay.
Till I've got till about 5:15, so about an hour and a half. Hour and 15 minutes or so, I guess I say.
Sounds good. An hour, 15 minutes, that's good for me. I got to hire 2 people.
Yeah, we're busy. It's all good.
Budgetary things. So, number 1 is Exodus 20, verse 2. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me.
Wait. Let's go with the list. Go with the list versions.
But people won't know what it means. It's just to know that God exists. That's not what this says. This says...
Oh, is that the scripture?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fine. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just wanted. Sorry. But I wanted people to at least see what the list. They can't even see the list. Sorry. Let me share the screen with the list on it. Yeah. Let me do that. Yeah, so that they can
understand it way better than I do.
Yeah. All right. Sorry about that. That's all right. So let's kind of at least bounce it like this. So number 1 is to know that God exists. He just read the passage. I'm the Lord your God. You can't have any other gods before me. All right. Number 2 is do you want to say more about that? Number 1.
Sure. This is a curious one.
Also, hang on one sec. I have one request. Can you tilt your camera up at all because the name bars kind of cover people up? I don't really like that. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Ooh, my name is written in my forehead.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? It's a little weird. Yeah.
No one should worry.
Yeah.
Totally a made-up story in Revelation. Series of made-up stories. So it says, you shall have no other gods before me. Now, if I spoke Hebrew, I would be able to tell you if this means you should not prefer them instead of me, or you should not bring them into the tabernacle or the temple, whatever.
Right.
There is another commandment somewhere in here that we'll see. If this was the King James, it would say, thou shalt not revile the gods, and gods is plural.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I wonder, does that mean for these people, for the Hebrews, that El or Yahweh was the chief god? Well, if it mentions Deuteronomy 5:6, or essentially says the same thing, we'll just leave it alone. So not to entertain the idea that there is any God but the eternal. So that's Exodus 20, verse 3. Actually, that's it. You shall have no other gods before me. I don't know that number 1 is a commandment in that light, though. Anyway, whatever. This person worked their butt off to make this list, so we'll just let it slide. Number 3, not to blaspheme. Exodus 22, 27 to 28. Come on, I typed fast. At least I used to.
Yeah, because I think we got the first 2 in that first passage, right?
We did, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's a 2.
Yeah. That's fine.
Two, 7, 8. All right. Wow, I won't be doing that twice. Okay. Sorry, folks. I'm not used to doing this. Okay, Exodus 22. All right, verse 27, 28. It's funny because this is already, I think they skipped some. But anyway, 27, for it may be your neighbor's only clothing to use as a cover, and what else shall that person sleep? And your neighbor cries out to me, I will listen, for I am compassionate. So this says not to blaspheme. Then it goes to 28. You shall not revile God or curse a leader of your people. So, Pocket Locker, can you bring up on your screen Exodus 22, chapter 22, verse 28 in the King James? This is weird. It's almost like they use something different to come up with this.
No, I think they're trying to sort of give you a summation of it, and
well, they're skipping one. They're skipping Exodus 20 to chapter 20.
Because this other site that's on Jew FAQ is giving like the same list pretty much.
I think it's somebody made a list 1,000 years ago, and everybody's using the same one.
Yeah,
but they're
I'm
leaving
sure,
out.
I'm sure,
if you lend
I'm
money
sure,
to my
I'm sure.
people, to the poor among you.
So the King James Version says, "Thou shalt not revile the gods nor curse the ruler of thy people."
Okay, so I'm going to read. Can you put that on the screen?
But the NIV does say, "Do not blaspheme God or curse the ruler of the people."
Exactly, they change it.
You must not dishonor God or curse any of your rulers.
Yeah, they change it.
They change it. Yeah. That's
that's
some evolution right there.
Probably my favorite.
And they don't believe in evolution. I mean, that's crazy. It's right there.
Even the text has evolved.
Yeah, seriously.
So that one is probably not listed here. It's 27, 28. I don't know. Maybe in Hebrew, the person making the list speaks Hebrew, and maybe it's different for them than it is for us. That could be. And then Leviticus 22, 32. I shall go there. Okay. So the list says not to blaspheme. Wow, I've done that once or twice today.
I like that.
Being truthful. Yeah, this list is incomplete, folks. There's no way. It's this because 31 is not listed here. It says, "Thou shalt keep my commandments and observe them. I am the Lord." That's a commandment. You shall not profane my holy name, that I may be sanctified among the Israelites. I'm the Lord, I sanctify you. So wait a minute. Maybe this one doesn't apply to me. I mean, genetically, I guess I could be an Israelite, but I don't know. I live in California.
Right.
I'm from the Midwest. I don't know. Folks, maybe we can get out of this one. So yeah, I don't have to hallow his name or profane his name, which is good for me. That's 5 and 6. And then to know, let's see, 6, to know that God is one, a complete unity. That's Deuteronomy 6. Well, Trinitarians, put that in your pipe and smoke it. That is contradictory to the Trinitarian belief. How can it be?
The only one I don't see myself breaking on all the time is 2. Right? I do not entertain the idea that there is any other God but the eternal.
Well, look, on Judgment Day, if there is such a thing, you can say, aha. Exodus 20, verse 3. You don't catch me doing that one wrong.
You don't catch me slipping on that guy, do you now, huh?
The most important one?
Yeah.
And maybe God will give you a ghetto pass.
Yeah. Hood salvation, you know. You didn't treat me right, but you weren't sleeping around with anybody else either. So
yeah, see, there you go. And you probably did number 10, which is to imitate his good and upright ways. I mean, you don't walk around slaughtering people, which is fantastic, if you ask me.
The funny thing is, I think his should be taken out of that, and we're fine. To imitate good and upright ways. His version of good and upright ways, I want no part of.
See, you could do the crossed out Bible.
The crossed out, yeah. Just,
you're crossing out things.
Yeah, I'm sticking a red highlighter through his to imitate good and upright ways. That's what I'm doing.
I think that's fantastic. But as Otangelo might challenge us based on whose standard.
Yeah, why say with 7 words what you could say with 6?
True. So 6 is to know that God is one, a complete unity. Deuteronomy 6, chapter 6, verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord alone. So this is known as the Shema.
AR, I think the black Sharpie is too neutral. I think you got to go red Sharpie. Because that's what my advisor does, is the red comments, and they just make you feel emotionally shredded. Like your revision looks like a massacre, and it really sells home the fact that the person revising it is a much better writer than you are. And
there's a commercial. I want to encourage everyone to try to find this. There's a commercial years ago that was done for Whiteout. This woman is sitting under a tree and she's reading a breakup letter from her now ex-boyfriend. And he's explaining why there's a breakup and all that stuff. And she takes out the correction fluid, the whiteout, and she starts whiting out certain words that change the meaning of the letter to where it looks like the guy is the one who just is crap.
That's great. That's probably a wonderful commercial. Yeah.
Yeah. So
sounds like a good one.
The brand is Whiteout. I don't know.
Yeah, I got to try to find some. I haven't gone commercial digging in a while for like commercials that are safe to play on stream.
Yeah, there's some out there. So I'll start over with the Shema here. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is the Lord alone. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. So that's that one.
Now this is the obsession of Christianity or religion that I guess is often overlooked, right? I always say if you think you're doing enough for, we were talking about this early with Gin and Truth, where he's kind of saying if your profession is ministry, the problem isn't probably that you're not walking with Jesus enough. But this is the passage that contradicts that. It's love God with all your strength and all your might and all your heart. So if you're worshiping God 4 hours a day, it'd be better if it was 5 or 6. If you're giving God 90%, 92 would at least be preferable,
Well, I think you have to do other things.
Me too.
I think you have to do other things.
But I think this is ripe for that misinterpretation, I guess is what I'm getting at. All your might and all your heart and all your strength. It's very totalitarian, I think.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
You don't say this to your fiance, do you?
I don't have to.
Sure.
She's a believer in God and Jesus and all that stuff.
I just meant in the sense of, that in a healthy, normal relationship, even the most intimate that we find, possibly on the planet, we don't have to say.
She has called out to God when I've been present. I won't give further details.
Sure, I mean, that's...
But again, it wasn't God.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, though. We don't have to say, give me all of your love and all of your, I need all of you, right? It's just, it's not a normal thing to ask of someone, I guess is what I'm getting at. Yeah, it's not necessary.
I appreciate the fact that there are other people in her life that she loves, like, you know, her family, her dear friends, and things like that. I don't need all of that. I can't bear, nor do I need all of that attention.
Seriously.
You know, the God of the Bible seems very insecure, and I think we're gonna see that reveal as we go through this right now. By the way, I think a Christian probably could make a case for the Trinity. When they say, like, there are three that bear witness in heaven, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, these three are one.
Yeah.
You get that sort of language in Revelation as well. And it says, let's see, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord alone.
It's so interesting because I think they can do, I think there's a very simple backflip to do here. So first off, people go, oh, there's a problem because Yahweh is supposed to be one, but the Old Testament God gives you these plural references, right? Because it's all mashed together between the polytheist or whatever. But they could just come back and say no, because later in the gospel, you get the Trinity, God sends a spirit, Father, there you have the Father, the Son, and then boom, the Holy Ghost. So when it's saying we, it's really just the one God, but it's the three persons. So I've always kind of, that's an apologetic I'm not going to try to get into, because it's just whatever. Whatever, well, take that, fine.
Again, the escape route is saying that,
escape route, that's what we should call it.
If you continue in the Old Testament, God says things like, I will cause my name to dwell there. You hear about the glory of the Lord, God's name, and all that stuff. That's still supposedly aspects of this one being.
Right.
Again, it's sort of a get out of arguing free card, if you will. Because they can phrase it that way. And though these ancient folk who were writing this, I think they were quite clever, and sometimes. And they knew that this is just, look, a lot of the people in their audience, in their ancient audience, could not read and would never even see these holy scrolls.
Right.
So, of course, they just know that here are the priests whom I trust, and they're telling me, who I must trust. I think that was probably more accurate. Whom I must trust. They're telling me that this is what God is saying, so I need to believe them. You know, again, this is how they ordered. We see that now with the way, I'm going to use Trump as an example. There's probably not a better one. How something had happened and you go on YouTube and you want to get the latest news about Trump. The people who love Trump phrase the event one way. The people who dislike Trump phrase it in a completely different way. So if you watch both sides and average them together, you actually could make up your mind about what you see happening. But yeah, it's one of those where they can give it a slant.
For sure.
And I'll say the slant's not fair. Just give people the facts and let them make up their own mind. But I don't know that any news channel does that. Maybe, but I don't know.
Absolutely.
Let's see. To love God. So we threw that in there. That's in there too. So we'll move on to Deuteronomy 6:13. The Lord your God, you shall fear him you shall serve, and by his name alone you shall swear. Well, Jesus said you're not supposed to swear at all.
I just think so many of these are just redundant. It reminds me of going into the Kent Hovind debate. Donnie sent me a list of, like, I think 4 or 5 topics, and they were all the same thing. Evolution on Trial, which is the one I took. That was the last one. But it was like, is there sufficient evidence for evolution? Does evolution explain common ancestry? Do we have sufficient evidence of a last common? Like it was like the same question rephrased 4 different ways, right? And this is the same thing. Love God, honor God, don't blaspheme him, hallow his name, don't profane him, know that he's the one, love him, fear him, do not test him. You know, it just could.
And yet, if you keep reading the Bible,
noise, right?
when you keep reading the Bible, it'll say you can test God.
Oh man,
that's coming up very shortly. So.
Oh yeah, if we were sitting here getting into the law, the commandments, and their contradictions, we'd never get this done. Yeah, I already feel like this is going to be a 60-part episode 60-part series because it's just God has too many damn laws. God has too many rules. All right, where are we at, my one black friend?
Okay, so I'm going to pull up another verse.
But yeah, I don't even know if we have to pull up the scripture for all of them, right?
No, we don't. If you would pull up Malachi 3, verse 10 on your screen, I'm going to read Deuteronomy 22:16. Sorry, 6:16. But pull it up on your screen.
Malachi what? 3:16?
3:16, yeah.
Malachi 3:16 says, I just whipped your ass. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead and read it. Go ahead and read it, and then I'll read the one from the list.
Then those who feared the Lord spoke with one another. The Lord paid attention and heard them. And a book of remembrance was written before him, and those who feared the Lord and esteemed his name.
Sorry, I told you 3:16. I should have told you 3:10. Forgive me.
Oh, Malachi 3:10 doesn't make any good wrestling jokes.
It does not.
Bring the whole tithe, into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it. Now, this is how I know scriptures, through songs. Open the floodgates of heaven. I don't know, there's a song like that, right? But then it's a self-referential thing because you can sing to the Lord about this song and then you can reference the fact that he says it in the book. But it's like, well, wait, they wrote the lyric because it says it in the book, right? So that it's just I realize how much the worship emotional manipulation feeds the circular reasoning. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, you have commentary on the commandment here.
Yeah, so verse 16 says, do not put your Lord to the test, your Lord God to the test, as you tested him at Massa. You must diligently keep the commandments of the Lord of your God and his decrees and his statutes that he has commanded you. So it says, don't put him to the test. And yet here it says, put him to the test in what you read. You can do it. Bring your whole tithes into the storehouse so that his house may have food. Now, never mind the fact that if you're God, can't you just cause food to grow in there?
Oh, amen. Paulie B also says, I think I remember reading somewhere that back then, in order to be considered smart and well-educated, you had to be somebody who was well-versed in Scripture. It'd be nice if even today we still had that because, even the things that would help us, right?
A little more. Lauren Boebert
could use a little no more. Yeah.
I've thought of sending her messages that's Mrs. Boebert. I think you ought to understand this and this, and you don't understand what the Bible means when it says this or that, but in the context you gave it, you're pulling it out of its original context and giving it the opposite meaning.
Carrie Ann's in airplane mode.
Ask me first. Private message me.
Seriously.
Before you send that scripture out. Okay, where are we? So verse
where's
number
my
10.
bot at?
To imitate his good and upright ways. Well, we don't need to cover this, but we will. All right, let's see here. 28:9. Deuteronomy 28:9. The Lord am I in the right place? Yeah. The Lord will establish you as his holy people, as he's sworn to you, if you keep the commandments of the Lord and walk in his ways. Okay. The person who made this list, I'm going to be critical.
Go ahead.
Too much repetition. This isn't new. This isn't a new commandment. Like even the Bible could say, a new commandment I give to you. Love one another. I love you. Okay, so we've already covered this, but whatever.
I just think that this is the nature of law. And it's kind of interesting because Rabiah Rabbi Tobias Singer's been getting some attention in the community lately, and he's one of these people who his explanation of how Jews are the chosen people is that they're set apart to have more rules apply to them. Basically, that's his excuse. And it's like, hey man, we got to live under the 613, and the rest of y'all only got to live under the 10 or whatever. But you see where there's so much repetition in here. It'd be interesting to see an analysis of how many actual rules there are versus, this really ballooned sort of presentation of synonyms.
Padded list, extremely padded. I've been working on my impression of Rabbi Tovia Singer. Would you like to hear it?
Oh yeah, really? Hang on. Let me put you on the. Let me get you. Make sure your big screen. Here we go. There we go.
Pocket Lock. I get to make it to the big screen, which is very nice, very kind of you.
Oh, you're on there a lot. It's just I had to wanted to put the commandments up, make them easy to read.
Look, this is not my bailiwick. I don't know. So this is my Rabbi Tovia Singer impression. I'm working on it, right?
That's the thing, though. It's so calm, and he sounds so nice.
Extremely soothing.
Yes.
I want to thank you all for tuning into Hot Program. I know Pocket Locker broadcasts all the time. My one black friend, not so much. And I hope you are enjoying yourselves. Listening to my one black friend, it's like picking a scab. It's painful, but you have something to do.
That's so good. The cadence is so good.
Well, often what makes a great impression is the cadence and not the fact that you nailed the voice right. So Seth Meyers is really good at that when he impersonates Trump, because he doesn't sound anything like Donald Trump.
Like him, yeah.
But he nails the cadence. So you can, I guess it helps the audience. You can hear, you can visualize, if you will, auditorily, him saying these sorts of wild things. But of course, the voice isn't spot on. Jamie Foxx has a really good Donald Trump impression. I'm sure lots of other people do too. One of my tenants, he's got a similar voice to Trump, and I tell him, like, dude, he's a voiceover artist too. I'm like, you should be doing Trump impressions. You should be wealthy doing Trump impressions, but he doesn't want to learn, and that's fine. All right, moving on to number 11, to honor the old and wise. That's Leviticus 19:32. Let's go there, shall we?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. This says, wait, it's skipping some. It literally is skipping some. So look, in 31, do not turn to mediums and spiritualists. Do not seek them out to be defiled by them. I am the Lord thy God. Come on. And you know what it is? They've broken them up into categories. That this is not in numerical order. This is in categories. So I guess there's going to be a bunch of don't do this, don't do that. The shocking thing, and maybe it shouldn't be, is just how many Christians will seek out mediums and do tarot card readings and stuff like that. Even though tarot cards are BS, it doesn't matter. It makes people feel some kind of way. So that's nice, I guess. 32, you shall rise before the aged and defer to the old, and you shall fear your God. I am the Lord. I do get the sense, as I read the Bible all the way through, that a lot of it was ad hoc. Somebody was having an argument, and a section was written to end that argument, or to illustrate how those people should conduct themselves, and they could keep the argument, but they had to settle it in a particular way. And I think sometimes the writer had a slant. They favored one side over the other. And that's what we see again and again. So let's see. Verse 13. Number 13. I forgot 12. To learn the Torah and teach it. See, we got to go backwards now. I don't think we see people doing this today, except for maybe Jewish children, maybe they see that. Maybe the Limba do this with their kids in Africa. They say they are the original Hebrews.
I think you do need to honor the old and wise, but I feel like sometimes I hear that I feel like how do I say this? This can hold back a family, right? Now, fortunately, the Bible contradicts itself, right? So it's like, oh, honor the old and wise, and then it tells you the child shall lead. So you can pick and choose how you want to take it. But for me, like in the case of like my family, I feel like my mother's attempts to honor her parents are holding her and the rest of the family back, because it's an honor wrapped up in a sort of authoritarian, way that's gonna, it restricts your personal growth, right? And so, but I believe again that this is just the Bible padding and taking credit for stuff we all already knew, which is, man, life is rough. And it's especially rough to us as age takes us, because none of us beats Father Time. And one of the things I even see now in society I don't like is the way people make fun of older people. Mm-hmm. I think people do this with Joe Biden all the time. I think in our community, I think Sal's been taking shots at Mike, who's clearly really, really sharp cognitively, but he keeps trying to imply that he's not all there mentally. And I think part of it is that he's an older gentleman, and I think he thinks that automatically makes it believable or something. And it's just it's talked about, like what's the last group of people that it's okay to discriminate against, and many people are saying it's seniors, right? Mm-hmm. And I would throw heathens in there, but if you have the misfortune of being both, people are probably going to take shots at you, and I just think that's ridiculous. But yeah, I wouldn't disagree with this, right? This is one of those things where the Bible says you should honor the old and wise, and we go, yep, sure, we agree.
Well, I'd say you should honor everyone.
Honor everybody. There you go.
Honor everyone. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not going to, or nearly everyone. I mean,
sure,
Jeffrey Dahmer doesn't get any respect from me.
Right.
I'm not going to honor people like Adolf Hitler or whatever. Oh, wait. This is how many episodes in and we're finally mentioning him? So we were able to outlast that principle. There are people who are behaving despicably, and I don't think they deserve our honor. If anything, our correction. Let's offer you a correction. Here's how you can do better, because you are doing a terrible job, and that's not what we need right now.
Absolutely.
Let's see. I don't think I've read the verse yet, have I? To learn the Torah and teach it. Okay. All right. So that's Deuteronomy 6:7. I don't like that.
I don't even like this, because again, it's we were talking about this earlier with Uncle Bobby. It's you're building relationships and loving on people so that you can teach them this, God stuff that I don't think is true. So to learn the Torah and teach it, I don't think that's a good rule.
But the people who want religion taught in school, who want like the Christian religion taught in school, I think that is a foolish idea. The reason why, if I'm the teacher and let's say, even if a kid watches this, they're going to say, it sure is repetitive. Why is it so repetitive? And what's that going to do? That's going to make them lose confidence in it. And then I start telling them that, look, this guy tried to get.
So you're almost like
sticks.
You're almost like the general religious education as a tool of competency, almost like a shield against it.
I say it doesn't belong in school. It doesn't, because where's the practical application in life? When they were teaching me algebra, it's because they knew it's fundamental. One day I'm going to be sitting in my garage and I'm going to have to do some math.
Right.
They didn't see YouTube coming. Where I could watch a YouTube video of the people who created whatever it is I'm trying to use, like parts from my Firebird, right? The people who created the parts that I'm trying to use have made a video. Here's how you do it. Or maybe I won't always have instructions. I have to figure out something. And now because I learned algebra or trigonometry, I can do it. So it has a useful grammar, learning grammar, there's a usefulness to that. Learning about these religions, what the hell is that supposed to do? If I'm already accepting of people from other faith backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, teach kids that. Right. And you don't need to teach them religion. You don't. Because do I need to know that there was a talking donkey? Am I supposed to believe that? Am I supposed to believe that there was a burning bush that spoke? Am I supposed to believe that? Am I supposed to believe a guy walked on water? Am I supposed to believe a guy walked around the Middle East healing people, and yet people can't do that today? Or every time we look into it, it's BS, or they are doctors, you know, and maybe medications and surgeries are wrong.
Right.
I think you take a modern child with a brain in his or her head, and you try to show them this. If they really look at it, they're not buying it.
Well, I kind of think that that's why they've created a culture where you go to church, you have the experience, you do the emotional thing, the pastor reads some of the Bible to you, maybe encourages you to selectively read them a couple of passages, and that's it. One of the greatest disappointments I had was I was in a Bible study group and asked who wanted to read the Bible in a year with me. There were no takers.
There are no takers. Mm-mm.
This is supposed to be a Bible interest group, is it not? Like, this is supposed to be a group where we read the Bible together. They don't want to read the Bible. They only want to read what Pastor talked about.
I'd say more important than that is the social gathering. Like, somebody wants to show off
100%.
how amazing they look in their new outfit.
Yeah, I just mean to the extent that we're going to get into the Bible as the... we've got to do the Bible study thing to justify, like you said, the social experience, right? That's the occasion, so to speak. But we want to keep it to that. We don't want this to slip into a book club where the book is the Bible. But I think part of that is they know that would mean getting into the ugly parts.
There's plenty of them. If you abolish critical thinking, which we know there's been a movement to do that, then you can get those same kids to believe almost anything. If you teach them critical thinking, you might be able to get them to solve most any problem. I think that's better.
Right.
I would rather have them empowered, and I would rather have them capable than just sitting there saying, no, my one black friend, you have to understand the talking donkey, that really happened.
Right.
Did it? The worldwide flood, that really happened. And them sincerely trying to tell me that that's true. Right? Like we see Otangelo, he sincerely, I think, to a large degree, trying to get us to understand his point of view. Why? So he can save us from eternal conscious suffering in hell.
I don't know.
Which is invented by his loving God.
I'm starting to think that he's not sincere.
No?
Yeah.
Audience?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, where y'all at with Otangelo, y'all?
Yeah,
because I don't know. I don't know, right? So that's the first thing. I'm saying I don't know. That's first and foremost. Mm-hmm. But I'm starting to lean. It's like I am with mythicism versus historicism. I don't know, but I lean one way or the other, and which way I lean has changed over time. Well, so with Otangelo, yeah. I always lean towards he was genuine, but severely misunderstood and misguided. Now I think he is just committed to the grift, but I don't know. Carrie Ann said sincere. UCL said lost on his own island. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
Lost on his own island.
It's just he's really deep. So for instance, today when I got up, he was live earlier on somebody else's channel where he's in a politics Discord, and he's having this, he's holding up this whole panel talking about the origin of life, which is really so he can sell his book, and it's just...
He's giving the book away right now.
That's true. He's not. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys.
So
all right.
Pocket Locker, take those scientists that you work with, have them all read his book.
No, God, no.
And look, you're saying that science fails to represent itself well.
No, I agree. No, I agree
Right?
that this would be a great exercise. I'm just saying, convincing them that this is a worthwhile use of their time is a tough sell for me.
Why wouldn't it be? It's literally their profession.
Yeah, but they don't. The issue is they don't see it the way I do. Right? That's the problem. The problem is I'm saying they should be doing this, but when I say that to most of them, they don't agree. Or the ones who agree with me, right? They think it's really cool that I do it, but they're warning me, hey, your colleagues don't really think this is a thing you should be doing, right? And then they give me more warnings. Yeah, but then no, but it gets worse than that. They go, this could cost you the type of job you want if we don't do this a certain way, right? Right? Because what they're saying is all that time you're spending on YouTube, reading Otangelo's book and hosting Hot Program and, doing your thing, like you're not in the lab writing papers or working on research grants. So I've got to go to them, no, we are doing research and writing research grants. We're doing research in how to do scientific community education through YouTube, right? But I've literally got to do that. Do you see what I'm saying? Because if I don't, then it's just, no, really, you shouldn't be doing this, right? Right?
Send me some of those blood sample vials, and I'll get you some of my little brother's magic blood. And then you can write about his magic blood.
Yeah, seriously.
He gives to other people. So the doctors inject his blood into other people so they can be healed.
But yeah, I've got to literally wrap all this in a flowery burrito of scientific outreach and education, or else. But I agree with you. I think this would be the type of thing to do. And matter of fact, it would be really helpful to me because, right, I'm out here alone trying to tell Otangelo this is nonsense, and it would be great to everyone in the community if I could have 8 evolutionary biologists just go through it and all sign off on, we actually took the time to read it, and this, it would be great. It'd be beautiful.
Give everyone a chapter.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, that would really actually, don't get me wrong. The obstacle I'm trying to overcome in my head isn't that I don't think it's a fantastic idea, right? It's just trying to get them to understand, hey, we got to start doing stuff. Because part of what I've been saying lately is we're in the middle of a holy war. Now, you can keep ignoring it if you want to, but it isn't going to go away. And they're much more comfortable ignoring us than we should be ignoring them. Right? When I go to church on a Sunday morning, they're not sitting up there ranting and raving about science, right? They're just,
you can find
they're happy,
but by and large, no.
But yeah, but by and large, they're happy to keep us out of their lives, and so they're cutting off Christian children from any real meaningful possibility of a scientific education. Hashtag not all asterisks, not all Christians, but a lot of them, and there's nothing to interrupt that momentum and cause a course correction other than intervention by qualified professionals, right? Right? Like they're not going to wake up one day and go, hey, yeah, we really ought to stop preaching against evolution. Like it's just not going to happen. So I think the scientists who don't engage are certainly, I think they're good scientists, and certainly I don't think they're religious, but I do think they're engaging in magical thinking. They're hoping they can ignore a problem and it'll somehow go away, or they can pretend that somebody else should take on the responsibility. It may not be what you've trained to do, but that doesn't change the fact that you might, in fact, be the most qualified people to do it. Which also won't change the fact that it definitely needs to be done, right?
Right? Cut that little piece of video out and send it to them.
Yeah, right? Yeah, the clip that, seriously.
Other universities will be glad to talk to you, I'm sure, and take a chapter.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's actually a really good idea. But the problem is with Otangelo, maybe he hasn't had that exercise done, but he's had essentially that exercise done. It would almost be more of a case where I think the benefit would be for people to see how an Otangelo engages, what the issues are with their stuff, and how people can be confident that in fact, he doesn't know what he's talking about, right? I don't think even a letter from 20 evolutionary biologists would change Otangela's tune.
But that's not. Again,
I'm just reminding myself and others that's not the goal, right?
When you debated Hovind,
right, it wasn't about changing his mind.
It's sort of the Dillahunty approach. You're really talking to the audience.
Exactly.
To some degree, the person you're debating is the figurehead.
Right.
You're going through their ideas.
Right
through their ideas.
Yeah.
Boom.
Right.
To reach that audience.
Yeah.
I have to break what this person said in two, so I can reach the audience. Because if the audience has no, it's like I said about that whole the origin of the Hebrews. Are they black people? Are they the Jews that we see by and large today, where they look like they're whatever, quote unquote, white or whatever?
Right.
We don't actually know. And the topic is a muddy one, a seriously muddy one. And I've seen great scholarship. I've seen poor scholarship. I've seen some of the connections. I haven't seen all the connections. I've seen a lot of disconnections. I've seen people misunderstanding what a Spanish person may refer to as a European person 400 years ago, when what they called a black person might just be a darker skinned person and not even as dark as me.
Sure.
So I've seen people misunderstand that. Does it mean that they're wrong about everything else? No, it doesn't. So don't make up your mind so fast. And I think a lot of times in those audiences, there are a good number of people that haven't made up their mind, or part of what they learned doesn't make sense. So there's a knowledge gap. Well, you already know what fits well in the gaps. God does. But if they haven't done that yet, then they're sitting there watching you and Hovind on stage. They may be perfectly ready to put God in the gaps because Hovind says that's where he belongs. Or God just isn't in the gaps. God is everywhere. God is all of it. God is the source of it. And that's how he feels.
Absolutely. Yeah, Wolf, then we're talking about the biblical commandments. It's part of our first series. We're going to go through them. Where did we leave off? Do you remember?
Yeah, we left off to learn the Torah in teach.
Oh, yeah, right. That led to this conversation. 7. Yeah, absolutely. Because
next episode, really? I'll try to find another list that's not arranged by groups, but goes in book order.
Oh, I see.
There's too much leaping around, and you miss out part of, I'd say, how they can be sorted. Maybe I'll put this in Excel and then sort it. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. So let's see. To cleave to those who know him. That's Deuteronomy 10:20.
So that is then going now into others, right? This is to cleave to those who know him. And I don't even know where I'm questioning even some of the categorizations, like why they choose to put this here and not into the previous category. But it's like okay, it's just another. They're all the same, right? They're all this God who's just so insecure. Like it's horrible. I mean, if people tell you God isn't insecure, just pull up the laws and just.
Well, it's like that thinking that the God of the Bible is the demiurge, who is sort of someone with a lot of power, but not a lot of understanding of that power.
Right.
Not a lot of understanding of the consequences of using that power in particular ways. And so they're sort of fumbling through. Now, to me, a God like that makes a little more sense if they don't know everything. So it's about discovery, saying, oh, pray to me and I'll fix your problems. And then realizing, wait, what if people have problems with each other? What if this guy wants what this guy has and this guy wants to keep it? How do I resolve that? And then one day learning, I'm not answering any more prayers.
Yeah, so Wolf Boy,
Gmail.
So Wolf Boy's a Christian who's with us, and he asked if we're doing the 10 Commandments. No, we're doing the 613 Commandments.
613. Who is this person?
Wolf Den Gaming. He's one of Ken Hovind's fan. He's on YouTube. So you see him on the Pocket Locker 86 on YouTube. But he came on. He's a Ken Hovind fan who came over after that debate.
Okay, well, hello, Wolf Den. and anyone else that's joined us. And I can't see what's on YouTube at the moment.
Sure.
But yeah, we're doing the 613. You will see some repetition here, and
some repetition.
Yeah.
Maybe at the end we'll boil them down to 10. But go ahead.
Yeah, you may find this very interesting, because I don't know what your background is. Have you been exposed to these before in full? Like, have you read all of the Old Testament, all of the New Testament, and what your level of understanding is? I know the Bible is the book best read more than once, and more than once by the same person. So thank you for gathering with us. Let's see. Yeah, to cling to those who know him. So verse 20, you shall fear the Lord your God, him you shall serve, him you shall hold fast, and by his name you shall swear. Swell. Again, I think I've read this one already.
I feel like they just did like this creative interpretation, because I don't even know where you get. To me, I should have heard something like, and those who have gone before you and know him in their hearts shall be your guide, or something that tells me I'm supposed to look for other believers and knowers and doers of the law and be bound to them, so that it's easier to walk in steadfastness or something. But what you actually get in the scripture is just another God is great and all loving, and I should say all loving, but God is great and his law is amazing and wonderful and righteous and all of this. All right, so what? Not to add to the commandments of the Torah. Now that's interesting. What do you think of that? Because that's almost like, where do all these religious extra
How do we
rules come
enforce
from?
this? Is there a way?
Yeah.
Now, I do know the Bible does go, it says some interesting things about prophets. So if a prophet is a false prophet, you're supposed to take them to the edge of the village and stone them or something of that nature. Now, imagine the people we have on TV today. Can we not do that and just tell them, like, hey, cut it out? You're not a prophet.
Yeah.
Do we have to kill him? Because I don't want to kill anybody.
Do you want to take callers?
I'll be happy to take callers. But the Bible also says that if a prophet says a false thing, God gave them bad information on purpose.
All right, well, here we go. This is all right, so the thing is, hang on, I'll switch screens. The place we take calls is basically the same, but just like so just like our Discord has like a room for guests, our GatherTown setup has a room for guests. That way these spaces that we give people the link and password to are sort of only occupied by people who we know. You know, it's like a friends and family personal invite thing. Okay. But yeah, so I'm just gonna send you a link quickly to the we call it the cache.
Me?
Yeah, to you. Yeah. And it can save it. Yeah, you should just when I send you this link, just bookmark it. And basically, we could even in future, we could do hot program from this link. It doesn't matter. It's just another space, but it's the public one. Like, it's one we let people share with other people. So, like, if we're going to take calls, like Lupin wants to call in, he doesn't have access to the ranch, right? So we have to meet him in the gather.
Can you make it so I can hear that, or do I have to go in there right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna just send you like we'll just pop over to there. Only take a second. I'm just oh, you know what it is? I gotta do this freaking Google 2-step verification thing. Pain in my butt. Boop, there we go. All done. All right, I'm in. Let me give you the link. Copy the URL. Yeah, my one black friend, you should literally just be able to click on that, and I'll be in there.
Yeah, should.
Yeah, I'll stay here. I'm gonna stay here until I see you in there, and then I'll switch over.
Okay, let's see here. Did you send it on my phone or did you email?
Oh, I put it in the I just put it in the Gather chat.
In the chat?
Yeah. There's a chat right there in Gather. Carrie Ann was laughing at should. But yeah, if you see it in the chat, you should just be able to click on it right from there. There's no password to this one or anything. It's public, so. And then Lupin, you should be able to. That link is in the description, Lupin.
Okay. I'm going to take advantage of this moment of...
Oh, you're in. You're in. We see you. We got you. We're good.
I'm the little girl there.
Yeah, you're the little girl. Yeah, you going to make your avatar finally?
No.
No, not having it. All right, my one black friend, I'm going to pop out of this, and I'll see you over at the other one.
I don't even know what I'm doing.
No, you're fine. We're changing meetings, so we're going to all close out of this tab, and we're going to go to the one that you just joined.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. Close that.
I don't even know what to do.
You're good. You're fine. Everybody can hear you. You're good. All right, here we go. All right. Close the other tab out. There you go. Yeah. All right. No, close out the. Yeah. All right, that's fine. We'll probably just head over to this bigger table just in case more people join us. Yeah. Boom. Perfect.
Okay.
All right, you're officially a pro.
Myself.
Yeah. Go
I'll
ahead.
be right back.
Yeah, go ahead. Take your time.
Forgive me.
You're good. No worries. All right, Lupin, you can call in if you want. We're all in the cafe. Okay. We thought you were planning to call in. All right, no worries. And then same thing. I'm gonna share my screen. All right, I'll mute him in case anything else happens. He's going to the bathroom. I thought he was gonna. I should have muted him when I realized he didn't mute his microphone. No big deal. All right, there we go. Yeah, man, you're good. Yeah, so basically, it's just the same thing. Like it works the same exact way. It's just that the other space we were in is private for our friends and family. So that's why we normally host from there. But we come here anytime somebody wants to call in. And then just like, you know how with Restream, I would always just pin the link and put the link in the description. This works the same way. There's just a link pinned, link in the description. They click the link and they can hop in. All right, but in the meantime, we can continue what we were doing. So I've got my screen shared again, and we'll just go. And if Lupin calls in, we can talk to him.
Oh, the person's gone?
No, he said he was just going to get ready or something. I think he had to change or whatever the heck he was doing.
Don't go changing trying to please me.
Yeah.
Okay, so 13:1. If prophets or those who divine by dreams appear among you and show you omens or portents, and the omens or the portents declared by them take place, and they say, let us follow other gods whom you have not known, and let us serve them, you must not heed the words of those prophets or those who divine by dreams. For the Lord your God is testing you to know whether you indeed love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul.
Yeah, this is the Torah. The Torah. It's so repetitive. This is what you got to do. It's why you got to read it all the time and read it repetitively. Oh man, this is all right. What number was that, by the way?
That was number 15. Sorry. Actually, that was supposed to be number 14.
Okay, I'm excited about 16. So let's do 15. All right, so 15 is just not to take away from the commandments of the Torah. All right, we already know.
And how do they even get that from what I just read?
I don't even know. These are all the Torah laws, I guess. All right.
This is what happens when this is sort of my point, where something's given and people don't look at it critically. They just accept it. There's no way in hell what I just read says not to add to the commandments of the Torah. There is no way, not at 3 a.m, and certainly not at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock.
Right.
It does not say that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Lupin, also, we've got about 15 minutes left for today's show, so I got to get out of here about 5:15, let my dog out. But if you want to call and do, please do. My one black friend though, want to thank you, man, because now you're a Gather pro. See, here's what happens. Gather is way cool. You know how Restream allows us to have in like 10 people at once. Gather we can have bigger. Yeah, it has like 10. It has like a 10-person limit. Gather has like a 20-person limit, right? So we can do our parties and stuff. But since we only have that limit and we use it all the time, like we've got a virtual office, we've got a place where we've got a tent town where we camp out overnight and stuff. So we have all these different spaces, and then everybody that's on our friends list has an invite where they have all of the links and all of the passwords, and then after they enter them, they can all go into all the spaces anytime they want. And then this is like our little bridge to the rest of the world, where we only feel safe with friends and family on our compound. So we made the cafe so that we can gather with people who are not yet friends and family. So that's what the cafe is for. So now all I'm saying is, you know how to jump into the compound. You now know how to jump into the cafe. The link to the cafe you can actually share with anybody if you ever want to, meet anybody else in here or whatever. If you find that it's a fun place, you might find this is a fun place to meet your fiance. You can play games and gather stuff, and I don't know, they got little cute date areas and stuff. But yeah, that's that. But have some milkshakes, exactly.
She likes milkshakes. She calls them melted ice cream.
Melted ice cream, yeah, that's the vibes pretty much. But yeah, so I love number 16. Tell me what you think about number 16. Actually, that's one we definitely want to read the scripture on that one, right?
That every person shall write a scroll of the Torah for himself.
Boom, everybody's breaking that. Everybody's breaking that. If I don't see your own personal Torah scroll, you're done. You're done. This is serious. Because you got to remember, folks, this is before the printing press and all that, right? So the only way to make sure you can properly study your Torah, right, is I guess you got to copy somebody's. You got to be serious enough to make your own copy. And then you got to do everything else based on that. Carrie Ann said she has. I guess a bunch of us have them, but did you make it? Did you write it?
I didn't make it.
Did you write it, Carrie Ann?
Carrie Ann, it says, now therefore write this song and teach it to the Israelites. Put it in their mouths in order that this song may be a witness for me against the Israelites. That's what it says. Does this person? There's no way.
There's no way.
That says the same thing.
It's a lot different.
There's no way.
Her Torah is different.
Is it necessary for me to make my very own list? There's no way.
No way.
26, interestingly enough, says, take this book of the law and put it beside the Ark of the Covenant, the Lord your God. Let it remain there as a witness against you. For I know well how rebellious and stubborn you are. Sorry. If you have already been so rebellious towards the Lord while I am still alive among you, how much more after my death? Dang, Moses, you bad. You sad. So,
Seriously.
This does not say you shall write a Torah in 31:19.
Definitely. Oh, all right. Lupin is here. Lupin is, we met from the Kent Hovind thing. He's a Trump supporting evolution unaccepting. But he's here with us. He talks to us. He engages us. Lupin, can you hear us? You good?
There's feedback from Lupin, I think.
Yeah, let me mute your. How you doing?
Good. How you doing today?
Hi, Lupin.
I'm hungover and tired, but I'm all right. I'm living kind of.
All right, we appreciate you coming through.
You want some scriptures about the?
So, what are we doing? Are you guys reading about the Torah, or are you guys going through the Bible?
We're going through the Torah first.
Oh gosh. Mm-hmm. You guys can continue the. I mean, if you don't mind me asking, like, what's your like stance on everything? Like, are you atheist, Christian, agnostic, yada yada?
Do you want me to go first, Lupin?
Yeah, he knows about me. He knows me.
Okay. I am an atheist.
Okay.
I believe that Jesus was not a real historical person. Now, I'm doing some research on this because I'm one of the people who thinks Revelation was written before the Gospels. If that is the case, I can buy Jesus as a historical figure who was a lunatic that thought he and John the Baptist were supposed to be mentioned in Revelation, and it was their mission to sort of carry it out. You know, when Jesus says, I'm going and I will send someone after me, like someone will be sent after me, like he's one of the people who's part of the apocalypse. And that's why there's all the conversation about how the world is supposed to end soon. You'll see a new Jerusalem coming down from the sky, you know, new heaven and a new earth, all that sort of thing.
Jesus.
That's what they thought was going to happen. I know a little rough to hear me after drinking, but
that's a pretty hard line to go in, but you know, it's whatever. I'm down to hear everybody's opinion.
Sure. I also believe in evolution. I was a biology minor in college, and I excelled at biology in high school, not in college. It was a slog. But I was convinced as a teenager that this evolution bit is real. Absolutely. And it just takes time. It's not one of those things that's instantaneous. It may take generations for something to change. You know.
I'm just waiting for my gills so I could go swim underwater without having to wear scuba gear.
You had them before you were born.
Damn, well, I could still use them right now. I don't know why I evolutionarily lost them, but whatever. It's all good.
Well, because you're a human being. You're not a fish.
I'm not a fish anymore.
If you were a fish, you would have kept them.
I lost them between my fish and ape stage. Dang.
In the amnion, your gills were gone.
I don't want to. I'm a Christian. Let's not even get into the evolution thing right now, just because I don't want to get kicked out of Jay's stream right away.
Well, I'll fight for you. I'll be Larry H. Parker. So, Lupin, what are some of your interests here in us reading through this? Are there some commandments that leap out to you as ones you ought to live by, or that are particularly precious, or that you think, I'm doing this, why isn't everybody else?
Well, I mean, I try my best to like follow the 10 commandments, but of course I fail every day on that. So,
which set of 10?
There's
3 sets.
The basic Christianity, 10 commandments: thou shalt not steal, kill, blaspheme, covet thy neighbor's stuff. You know the basic 10.
Okay, well, there's 3 sets of 10 commandments in the Bible.
Okay, well, I mean, I have the Bible right here, and just like New Testament 10.
Okay.
I don't think they have the New Testament. I don't think they're in the New Testament at all. I'm pretty sure they're not.
Maybe, I don't know. I haven't read the whole thing from cover to cover in a while, but yeah, just the basics.
Well, at least you have read it. I know many people have not and call themselves Christians, and they've been Christians for decades, and they've never, at least they say they have been, and they've never read the entire Bible, which I find rather remarkable. But why wouldn't it be true? I mean,
it's a complex book,
but I don't think it's that complex.
It's
and
not.
You have things like notes in the margin.
Yeah, it's not complex, but it's one of those it's one of those kind of strange dichotomy type things where it's extremely deep and extremely spiritual and it can be extremely complex, but it's not at the same time, it's not really that complex, because if it was too complex, then it would be hard for the average person to understand it. So it's very deep, but you can understand it.
Are there better rules that you can think of that could maybe, if you had to get rid of a commandment in the list of 10 commandments, can you think of one that could replace something on that list because it's more important?
No, I think it's fine the way it is.
So it doesn't mention that you shouldn't own slaves. It doesn't mention that you shouldn't rape. There's a lot of honoring God on there, but couldn't they just be mentioned once and you use one of these others, like, yeah, you're not supposed to have slaves, you shouldn't rape people, like, remember if you're only going to remember 10.
Let me look up like the 10 commandments real quick, like all through real quick. Hold on, let me see, because I got my Bible with me, but I don't want to flip through. I'd rather just Google it real quick.
That's fine.
So let's see the 10 commandments in order. You shall not have no god other before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord in vain. Thou shalt remember the Sabbath, keep it holy. Honor thy father and thy mother. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, and you shall not covet.
Now, what's the covet one? Because you've already read that, right? That's already in that list. Am I mistaken? Does it show up there twice?
No, I think you may be getting it mixed up with possibly you shall not make false idols. Or make idols, or
well, okay. Can we do away with that one and have no slavery or no rape? Can we do away with that one?
I don't see any reason why we should do away with any. I mean,
I'm just saying in the top. If it's like David Letterman did those top 10 lists for years. Could we maybe move it out of the top 10 and in its place put don't have slaves or don't rape?
That's a tough one for me because, these are the 10 commandments, established by God, in my opinion. So that would be me taking away or editing or saying that my opinion is greater than God's, which I don't think I can. I mean, I guess if anything, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy, I mean, maybe something like that. But even then, I can't, nobody can really, to me, nobody can follow these 10 commandments, thankfully, so.
So what's a commandment that's hard? Because I've never committed adultery. When I was a kid, I stole. I don't do that now.
Well, and you've already messed up if you already stole. You've never cheated on a girlfriend?
No.
No?
No.
And this might be like a very watered down version of the one that I read.
You should listen to everything we read before you joined us.
Oh, if you're talking
watering down.
Oh, if you're talking,
you would think Pocket Locker and I were trying to recreate Noah's flood with all the watering down there was.
If you're trying to go through the Jewish commandments, you're gonna be. That's a topic that's gonna take months.
But Lupin, you don't think we would have made a better list if we just said, you know what, making an idol, like if you make a golden calf, cool. But instead, we're gonna explicitly say you can't rape or murder.
Well, it does say.
I say murder, but sorry. I meant to say rape or own slaves. It's going to explicitly, because look, we know there's a lot of biblical slavery. I don't know if you knew this, but there's more slaves in the world today than there has been at any point in human history. People think slavery is over. You just don't see the slavery that's in the world today. Hang on a second. Today, I want you to think about this fact before you respond to this question.
I was going to agree with you.
Okay, so you think we could replace idols with don't own slaves?
No. Also, the whole rape thing, I would say that could probably fall on you shall not commit adultery.
I almost am willing to give you that. And I also sometimes thought you could get that in thou shalt not steal, right? You're taking something from someone without their consent and they have not chosen to give you that. So I'm not averse to that. So let's just say, an explicit command of slavery over the idol worship thing.
So here's the slavery kind of deal. Slavery kind of has been around for centuries, like since probably the dawn of man. Slavery has been a thing, and there's different levels and tiers to slavery, because there's also indentured servitude, which is not necessarily the same, but you're essentially not necessarily a slave, but like you're somebody's assistant, like contractually, and it's agreed upon. It's like a mutual.
All right. So what if we ruled out all of the, let's call them soft slavery? Let's just say we're going to make an explicit commandment that says thou shalt not own another person.
Let's see if that could be.
Because then, look, and it may have been messy, it may have been ugly, and it may have been a different time. But if we do that, right, then I can give you, sometimes somebody was a secretary who lived there. Sometimes somebody did indentured servitude. Somebody sometimes had a debt. And, if they lived there and worked there for 6 or 7 years, they could pay it off. And, yeah, sometimes the masters or the people in charge took advantage of that thing.
Yeah,
let's set all that aside. We're going to set all that aside because in those situations, you don't own the other person. Right? It may be weird. It may not be an arrangement we'd agree to in 2022 or 2023, but you don't own the person. So let's just say all of the I call them soft slavery. Let's just say we're only talking about I own you. I own you. You are not free to leave. You are not an employee. None of that. I actually own you. Matter of fact, I might even own your children and your spouse, right?
Like communism.
Yeah, I can like the Bible. Yeah, and I can trade you. Just same way I could say, hey, my one black friend, I will give you this mouse for $50. It's my mouse to give to you. Oh, he says, oh, here, Jay, I'll give you $50. Give me your mouse. If I can do that with another human person, like if I can transfer them like a piece of property, let's just say I own them, right? What do you think then if the commandment is just thou shalt not own another person?
Well, let me kind of go over you shall not covet. Let me go a little bit deeper into that here. So
sure.
Covet means to want something that belongs to something else. A person who covets may be led to break most all other commandments. So I could almost see slavery fitting into that, because if you want to covet somebody else's livelihood and their being, then that could somewhat be.
I almost, I don't mind that, honestly, Lupin. To me, I hadn't thought about that, because, when I think of covet, I think wife, goods, whatever. But if we're going to say slavery makes a person a good, right? And then you shouldn't desire someone else's good, or that life it belongs to them, so you shouldn't covet their freedom, essentially, or you shouldn't covet someone else's freedom, or you shouldn't, or maybe you're, again, stealing, right? You're taking someone's freedom. It has not been consented to you by that person. Now, I don't know how my one black friend's about that, but I actually think that sounds pretty reasonable, Lupin. I don't know. What do you think, my one black friend?
I was distracted.
Oh, so he's basically saying, okay, because we were trying to sub in thou shalt not own another person, right? We're trying to get slavery in and see if we can replace one of these other commandments. And I kind of wanted to set aside soft slavery, right? Because a lot of times when we have that conversation, we get into, well, it was different back then. There's sharecropping, there's indentured servitude.
You don't need that. The Bible has provisions. Here's one right here. I was trying to find a place for Lupin to go to read about how a person can, who loves their wife and loves their children, and has the priest shoving all through their ear, and now they're a slave forever because their wife and children.
So hang on. Let me see where he's going. Where I think. Hang on, my friend, because I think I just want you to hear.
I want to give this to him.
Sure.
This is Deuteronomy something.
Old Testament?
Yeah, Old Testament.
Okay.
But thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him. This is a poor person. And thou shalt surely lend him what is sufficient for his need in that which he wanteth. In verse 7, if there be among you a poor man of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother. So it doesn't matter. You're supposed to lend to them what they need. And you know what Jesus said, Lupin? You're supposed to give without the expectation of ever getting it in return.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, that fixes it. You don't need to sell yourself in slavery. You don't need to. You just need, you should pay the person back.
Do you want to?
So hang on a second. Hang on one second.
Explain that.
Yeah. So he basically what Lupin was saying is he's actually trying to grant that slavery is wrong, and he was just trying to say that he thinks in a sense they can be covered by the commandments against covetousness and potentially even stealing. Right? You're taking another person's freedom. You are coveting something that is not your own. That person's life is not. So I was saying that sounds reasonable to me. And then I was asking, you're saying it doesn't sound reasonable to you?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so that's what we're asking for. Why not?
It literally says you can take your captive from the nations around you.
So you're saying it's not sufficient. So you're saying
it's telling you to steal.
So you're saying we can't say it's covered by the 10 Commandments because God turns around and then explicitly gives us some ordination, so then we can't say that that's what he meant in the first 10 Commandments.
Israelites are supposed to go conquer other nations and take their land after they cross the Jordan River, right?
Yeah,
they're supposed to do that. That's theft.
Yeah. So you're saying if that's what he was trying to tell them, they didn't get it.
God is commanding these Israelites to break the commandments he told them not to.
Got you.
I command you not to do this. Well, excuse me, because I'm going to keep breathing. And one of my future breaths, I'm going to tell you to do exactly what I said don't do.
Oh, the Jews have messed up a lot. Definitely.
Well, dude, I'm not letting you Christians off the hook. If I got to lump you all in together.
We mess up all the time, too.
The Crusades is a bit of a screw up. The slave trade, the international slave trade from the 14 and 1500s onward, that was signed off by the church. They had to dehumanize those Africans so that people would accept the fact that they're sticking thousands of them, tens of thousands, on boats and shipping them to different places in the world.
Yeah, I could agree that's been ugly. That's definitely an ugly, part of history, and it is what it is. But slavery has been around for, like I said, probably since the time of man. There's always been types of slavery.
I'm not going to disagree with you there. Slavery certainly has been around a long time, but in my point of view, if you're to be respectful, a respectable God, you put an end to that crap, and you do it quick.
Yeah,
it's you're willing to let people know you exist. You let them know that is not okay with me. That's not what we get out of the Christian God. He's like, no, do it.
And the Bible speaks upon slavery, and it does speak upon slavery and indentured servitude. And I can't quote you exactly where it's at, but it does speak about that. I believe there's something about it's something about beating a slave to a point.
You're not supposed to. But if they live for 3 days, there's no punishment for you. Because that person was your property.
It's you sound like you're somewhere in the realm. I just can't quote it. I can't quote it. off the top of my head. If you want to talk about like modern day slavery, what I was gonna say, something to Jay here, is about slavery. The crazy thing is, people think that like slavery is gone in the United States and everything like that. But if you become part of the prison system, if you go to jail, you are essentially a slave of the state. And so there is a huge slavery population.
Yeah. I've definitely got a problem with the labor system as it's called in prison,
and the prison system. Yeah. So there is actually it's a very like kind of hush behind the curtains version of slavery. You know, it's not like yes, I'm master, let me go pick the cotton, master. You know, it's not like that kind of slavery anymore. It's very organized, and it's a very it's a tough thing, you know, whenever it comes to like slavery like that. There's a lot of people don't understand that it literally says that you become a slave to the state, I believe, whenever you get incarcerated.
I would think there's a constitutional right the person doesn't have to give up when they go to prison. So they should be, if they're forced to work, they should be paid at least the minimum wage in that state and not anything less.
Yeah,
but try to say, well, we're giving that person room and board. You know what? Asking them, would they rather be somewhere else? And I'm sure you can get most of them to volunteer to leave.
Yeah, I mean, it's something. Yeah, and even it's something even that approached minimum wage with some sort of, you know, deduction so that you're not.
I don't think that's fair because they didn't ask to be there.
But they are incarcerated though.
Society.
But if you commit a crime,
I see what you're saying. So you're incarcerated. Your room and board is that you don't get to go home at the end of the day. You go back to being incarcerated at the end of the day. So if you're going to be working, stamping out license plates, then you should just be paid the minimum wage for stamping out license plates.
That's it.
Okay. I'm not gonna. I'd vote for that. I'd vote for that.
Well, I mean, what about like the people that aren't incarcerated that didn't commit crimes that do license plate? I mean, I don't think that might be fair.
Well, I'm just saying they get the same. They still get paid the same thing to do the work, and then they get to go home.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, if you are incarcerated, it's usually for a reason. Now, I will say this, like.
So, what do you think that means? Though you should be entitled to less than the minimum wage or something?
I mean, if let's say you beat someone to death, or you murdered someone, or you broke into somebody's home, you kind of given up your right to a minimum wage.
I think, to be honest, in those situations, though, you're probably not eligible for work. Yeah, you're probably not eligible for work.
You get privileged. You're privileged. Honestly, you're privileged to work if you can't.
Yeah,
work.
but I don't even think you. Yeah, but I'm saying a lot of that's where it gets tough, right? But that's what people have to deal with. People then have to create the market to work. Because here's what we might say: we don't want prison labor. And we might say prison labor is secondary labor, meaning no free person should be without employment, you know, and then that job be given to somebody who's violated the law. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that, but I would love to see the market settle that out, because you're right. You don't, and this is what I was going to say. The same way there are people who get arrested, they commit minor crimes when? About late every fall, every year. Why? Because they want somewhere warm and 3 square meals a day for the winter. And so they're gonna do some crime they don't even care about doing. They're gonna break a window, steal something real quick, give it back. They don't care. They just need to. They literally are people who would be homeless, but would prefer to just get locked up because it's better than being homeless.
Get 2 hots in a cot.
There it is. Now, let's flip that and say you don't want people to do that as a way to gain employment. I can't find work, so I break the law so I could get locked up, so I can stamp out license plates, so I can feed my family. Right? That's a problem. Right? I think
if you think like that, then you probably have some type of mental issue because I don't think
no.
That's
what we're saying. It wouldn't take that. It would not take that.
No, I think a lot of people. I think I'm saying people do that, but I don't think that the people that would do that are probably the most stable-minded people.
No, clearly something's gone wrong in your life if you're that desperate, right? You've fallen on hard times, whether it's you, social circumstances, drugs, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is simply, and I'm kind of we're all thinking through this together, right? My point was to follow up with what you said was you wouldn't want to create a situation where that prison job, right? Because you said there's a lot of people who haven't broke the law and they can't find work. Right. And so what I'm saying is you don't want to create a situation where people who are unemployed but law-abiding citizens can't find work and therefore commit some sort of crime because, well, my one black friend's policy of minimum wage for all prison works went through. And so now it's 2 hots, a cot, in a minimum wage job that you're guaranteed if you get arrested. So to balance that, we've got to make sure it's still a really bad idea to get arrested, right? Yeah. And maybe that is some sort of work restriction. But I think my one black friend is saying, first off, they don't have to let you work. So if they just want you to be incarcerated and do your time and move on, then they just should not be forcing you to work. They should just say, hey, you're locked up for 6 months and, if your family wants to put money on your commissary, that's fine, but you don't work. That's how a lot of people are. Like, I've been locked up several times. I've never had a job because, I'd never done that kind of time, but you just don't. You don't work. You're locked up.
If you sleep half of the day, then you sleep through half of your time.
Yeah.
So,
right.
So the thing about working and being privileged is, like, you were saying that the average citizen can't find a job, correct? Like, right?
I'm just saying if that's the concern.
Here's a beautiful thing. Look, like I'm currently unemployed. I'm ill. I have a disease. I can't get medical assistance for it because, like I said, it's no glamorous disease. It's not it's not popular.
Not on the cool list.
It's not cool like cancer or anything like that. So it's hard to get assistance for that. And there's other reasons too. But if I wanted to go and work, I could literally go outside and maybe knock on my neighbor's door and say, hey, I noticed that your gutters are full of leaves. You know what? For this amount of money, let me go ahead and take care of your gutters for you and do this. Let me go and let me mow your grass. Let me do something for you, and you can make your own work. You don't necessarily have to work for somebody.
Yeah, and you kind of do lose that when you're locked up. This was actually a great conversation. I'm sitting here thinking, is this what the world looks like if my one black friend and Lupin are both elected officials and have to come to the negotiating table to work things out? So
I couldn't be an elected official, man. I'm too real.
Well, some people would say that about some other people in the room with you. But I certainly appreciate you guys. I got to get out of here to make sure I get to my meeting on time.
Okay.
So
how do I get in touch with Carrie Ann? How do I get in touch with her?
Gather. She'll be in the Gather with us. She's always hanging out in Gather. Also, she has email. So she's not in the room right now, but when we go back to the ranch, she'll be over there. But also email. No, and real seriously, email, because I know you're not in the Gather a lot with us during the week, during the day, and I know you're not in Discord. But Carrie Ann, she tried to tell you yesterday, her email is her name, Carrie Ann Chrysler, I think at Gmail. So I'll probably, if it's okay with you, if you give me permission, I'll send her your email address so she can reach out to you.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So I'll have her reach out to you. Also, my one black friend, we are going to be in the Bundy Ranch one later, watching the football game with Jen and Truth. We're there around the week, hanging out normally, even when we're not online. But yeah, for everybody else, appreciate your time. Thank you all for joining in. I am not going to probably be streaming the rest of the day. Me and Sacred Death, my club, we have some stuff to take care of behind the scenes, so I'm not going to stream our church today. And I'm probably going to reschedule the Atheist Crew book club. I think I want to move it away from Sunday nights, just so that my Sunday evenings can be spent and gather. I'm trying to spend more and more time and gather and less on YouTube. So I will be ending the stream, but I will be in gather the remainder of the day. So, and I'm really looking forward to 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Uncle Bobby will be coming through to check out at least the first part of the Cowboys and Eagles game with us. We watched super fun movie last night. We've been watching crazy shows. We've been watching Cheers. We've been having a really good time. We don't have to worry about copyright and things like that. So if you have an invitation, please join us and gather. I'll be there. I'm just gonna take Sam out real quick, and then I'll be right back at the Speakeasy. We'll be watching the game with Uncle Bobby. I'll probably just be hanging out and gather, playing some videos, doing some work or something while Sacred Death has church. And then we'll get to the game and we'll hang out tonight. So, yeah, everybody, join us and gather if you can. If not, join us in Discord. The link is in Discord. If we know you, once you get hooked up as a member in Discord, we'll give you the invites and stuff to gather. Otherwise, been really, really fun. I want to thank Uncle Bobby for joining me on the Blackout. That was super fun. And, of course, I want to thank my one black friend for joining me on Hot Program. Thanks to Lupin for calling in. Do you have anything else for us, my one black friend? You got anything going on?
I don't. I'm riding to Carry On right now. I gotta get stuff out of my rental car, and then I'm gonna call my fiance because she and I just talked for a little this morning. So
awesome.
And then I gotta work.
All right, gang. As always, be good to yourselves
and each other, and thanks everybody.
All right. In the name of the Darwin, the Dawkins, and the Christopher Hitchens, signs bless you all.